What's up, guys? How are you doing today? It's Monday. It's the 4th of January, and we're on episode 2 of our second season here on the Twitch Pokers. And today, I'm going to be playing two tournaments. I'm going to be attacking the 2K Guaranteed, which is a $10 rebuy and add-on. And I'm going to be attacking the $30 rebuy and add-on, the 3K Guaranteed. And I've talked a lot about this on the stream before, about why that 3K is pretty much my favorite tournament on wsop.com to play. And I think it gives you, I actually think it gives about the best ROI that you're going to find on the site. But the $10 one is good too. The only reason I don't like it as much is because the add-on isn't that double add-on. So the add-on is 4,500 rather than 8,000 like it would be for the 30, which means that it's not as big of a mistake when players don't add on. It's not as big of a mistake. In the 2K, in that $10 2K, you buy in for $10, you rebuy for $10, you add on for $10. Maybe you bust before the add-on period starts, so you're in for 50. It can get expensive. Some people just take one shot. Now, in a $30 tournament, if you were just to take that one shot and give up that opportunity to pick up that double add-on, it would be a big equity mistake. And the $10, not so much. So you get some people who are just going to take a stab at it, $10, see how it goes. You get other people who are just treating it like a $50 or a $60 or a $70 tournament. It's a small tournament with a decent payout. It's probably going to be 1,000 for first, and then with the 30, it'll probably be like 1,700 for first. So how are you all doing? I'm going to get this going. I'm actually sitting in the 2K Guaranteed right now, and the 30 doesn't start for another 25 minutes. So let me go ahead and get this going right here. Get my layers going. Michelle is not going to be joining us today. She did a lot of errands, and she's... Wow, look at that. Bobski with the quad queens. Quad queens. Rufio did have a few outs going into the river. But let's see. Rufio 13, you're going to take that out. You're going to take that second chance. He does. He takes the rebuy. Not the double rebuy. Just the one bullet. Just firing one bullet at a time, not machine gunning it up. Which, I don't know. I can see an argument for... But I kind of feel like get that double buy-in right away. Let your opponents make some pretty big mistakes. If somebody at this point we're playing 10-20, so we're a starting stack is still 200 big blinds deep. But if someone's going to lose 200 big blinds with pocket tens versus pocket queens, well, that's a pretty big mistake. But it's a bigger mistake if they've got 400 big blinds in front of them, or like Bobski, like 600 big blinds in front of them. Someone just shouldn't lose that many big blinds. So when they do, you kind of want to give them an opportunity to be able to make that kind of big mistake. So as long as you're not the kind of player who's going to stack off with jacks or queens for 400 big blinds pre-flop, you probably should go ahead and try to get that double stack to begin with. Let's take a look. How many people are in this? We've got 65 people. We're 11th just by virtue of putting in that double stack. Just by virtue of starting with a $20 buy-in rather than a 10. Fifth hand in the tournament. Let me get my Twitch alerts going. And then it's just sit back for the next half hour, 45 minutes, and try to be on the right side of some cooler spots. How you doing, Bob? It's good to see you, man. And Bob, your book is going out tomorrow as far as that bounty goes. Michelle made me do some stamping. We went and got the envelopes. We're on the fast track to finish up all this prize redemption and get the Poker League behind us. I'm also going to try to get... Lynn in 1973, her PS4 and Kindle, and I'm gonna try to get those Kindles out tomorrow too. It'll still be probably another week and a half before the T-shirts go out. But yeah, and Bob Hatter saying, "Hey, want to see something cool?" I do want to see something cool. I always want to see something cool. BRB VFL, how you doing? It's good to see you. I'm really looking forward to seeing something cool, Bob. Next time you just have to say, "Hey, want to see something," and then it'll be like, "Oh, that's cool." Now though, my expectations are high, so I'm really expecting something awesome. Mason Jersey, good to see you. Link to something cool, please. Oh my gosh. 10 months in a row. Oh, jeez. It's too early. It's too early. Oh, no, I didn't get the Twitch alerts up. But Bob Hatter's subbing 10 months in a row. Oh my, that's like, that's as good as it gets, you guys. And I got to get this Twitch alert up, and I got to, I didn't have it ready. I wasn't ready, Bob. We are gonna like take over the vocal world. That's what it was supposed to say, but it was supposed to say thanks to Bob Hatter. I feel sick. It wasn't ready. Okay, now it's ready. And hey, Bob, thanks so much for being here, man. It wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same without you. I feel like there are, a real core group of regulars that really make this channel what it is. And you've been with us since the beginning. You've been such a huge help, and really have made this channel become better. So thank you for being you, and thank you for being here, and thank you for being a big part of the crew. Really appreciate you, Bob. Okay, what do we do here against s02e002 Hunt? Well, the queen kind of helps us. It kind of helps us, but our equity just dropped when the queen hit. I'll make the call. I don't like it, though. Sigh. Is it going to just be a check call? Probably. Mason. Oh, wow, we had the same hand. Beautiful. So Mason Jersey asking, I thought you were off Mondays, or is that Tuesdays? I'm not going to keep a regular schedule right now. I'm just going to, I'm going to stream a lot. We're doing my goal is 200 streams for 2016. So I'm going to do a lot of streams. I think I'm going to try to stream every day this week. So we'll take, I'm sure that sometimes we'll take Mondays and Tuesdays off or Wednesdays off. But tonight, we're here. It's a beautiful night. It was a rainy day in Vegas. And Ferrari Doctor, wow, just bubbled Hollywood today, but it was a bounty, so he picked up 5 bounties. I'm going to guess that probably means that you're up for the tournament, right? I guess it depends on how they structure those bounties. But hey, Ferrari, great to see you, man. It's always a pleasure. We got S Maybe in the stream. Only been live for a minute, S Maybe, so you're not missing anything. Haven't missed anything. We got Nikki, 2 cards. Good luck tonight, Dutch. Thank you, Nikki. If you're grinding tonight, good luck to you too. Let's go ahead and see a flop with these guys. s02e002 Hunt making the limp. Ilan bumping it up a little bit. King Jack is kind of one of those iffy hands where we can't just like flop a king or flop a jack and be like, yes, let's get it all in. But we'll see a flop. I mean, we're all so deep. You can, as long as you're willing to let go of strong hands and get value from from hands when you're ahead. As long as you're good at value betting and also making folds, when you're this deep, when you're looking at 150 big blinds deep, you don't really have to be too selective with any of your hands. But I'll tell you, for the most part, I pretty much just sit back and wait for the kind of hands where I don't have to think about it too much. You know, the ace rags suiteds, the pocket pairs where you can where when you make your monster hand, you don't really have to think too much about it. We got Wisco Allen stream. It's great to see you, and Rick the Hat, giving those pizza emoticons. I got to tell you, Rick, a little confession to make. We are having pizza tonight. It doesn't even matter if I win or not because Michelle's already started it. I showed you guys what I got for Christmas, right? Hold on. Check that out. How beautiful is this? Isn't that just a thoughtful gift that Michelle got me? A fist bump spanking paddle? No, it's not a spanking paddle. This is a pizza... What do they call it? A pizza scooper-upper. I think that's the official name. We're gonna put it to use tonight. Michelle, she got some new pizza recipe that's gonna be like a cast iron skillet pizza deep dish recipe. She's been working on it all day. So that's what I'm doing. It doesn't even matter. I feel like I've already won. So yeah, it's gonna be it's a good day to be here. We got Seattle Pro. How you doing, man? It's good to see you, my friend. And hashtag Schwagio in the stream. We've got so Bob, I did see the 10-month announcement, but we're on a delay, and I shouted it out, but it didn't pop up. It didn't pop up. I feel really bad about it. I didn't have my Twitch alerts up yet. Rick the Hat saying you should be working on my app. I'd love to hear some details about that. And Louis Helm in the stream. It's great to see you, Louis. I haven't seen you for a little bit, and I hope that your New Year's is going really well, and everything is good in your life. Where are you keeping yourself these days, Louis Helm? Are you you going to PCA? You doing the offshore stuff more during 2016 or less? Ferrari Doctor. Oh my gosh, he says he missed his 10-month anniversary. That's messed up. That is messed up. That is messed up. I'll try to do better in the future. Okay. Let's get this little Twitch alerts text counter thing going. Looks like we had someone subscribe when we were off, so big shout out to our newest subscriber, the real Sammy Dubs. We weren't live when he subbed, so didn't see that in the channel. Seattle Pro saying he's wearing that Eximoa bounty hat every day. So much for giving it to the missus. That's pretty awesome, Seattle. Yeah, I'm in the middle of doing some prize redemptions. I'm gonna actually try to get your Kindle out tomorrow. Your Kindle Fire, Seattle Pro. You and Nikki Two Cards are both getting that Kindle Fire. And then Linda's getting the PS4 and the Kindle Paperwhite. I'm gonna try to get that out tomorrow, and then it's probably gonna be another week and a half before all the T-shirts go out. And then I'll try to get the Tournament Poker Edge and the all-in subscriptions. I've got the spreadsheet up, and I've got about 16 bounties to ship out, and then I have 25 all-in subscriptions, 25 Tournament Poker Edge subscriptions, 25 T-shirts to work out. So Ace Jack offsuit, it's not that bad of a flop for us. The flop comes 3-3-5, so I kind of feel like maybe we're ahead there. But now S&P 4 is saying, okay, well, if you guys aren't going to take it, I'm going to go ahead and take it. And he fires out a pot-sized bet, which is a little bit heavier than I'd like to pay off, even without major giggles. But there's no way we're overcalling here. TF Richards 92. I folded kings pre-flop in cash games. That's as good as it's ever gotten for me. We got K. Lohman. Great to see you, man. Let's take a look here. I'm going to put this right here. Does it look good there? I feel like it looks pretty good there. Dakota Cohoon in the stream. Great to see you, my friend. And hey, K. Lohman 22. Wow, look at that. Fives full versus the ace 3. And we started off pretty good. The unbeatable hand. Love it. I love how both of those guys were slow playing on the flop. Okay, making the raise here. Hey, yeah, K. Lohman. Happy New Year. It's going to be a good 2016. K. Lohman actually just got engaged, you guys, so give him the congrats. And big congrats from me, man. It's great to see you here. and I hope that your 2016 is just awesome. We got MPK86 in the stream. Great to see you. So, Dakota Cohoon, Rufio, and Dave57. I'm going to go ahead and fire out a half pot size bet into all three of these guys. And Pocket Ace is the best pair hand right now. But it's just a pair. I don't really know how much heat I'm really willing to put in with it. It's not like a situation where I feel like losing 250 big blinds with a single pair. But until these guys give me a reason to think that it's not good, we're going to go ahead and try to eke out some more value. Look at this. We got Rub and Leon just subscribing to the stream. Starting us off great. Thank you very much for supporting the stream. Am I saying that right? Ruben D. Leon. I think that's what it is. Ruben. I don't think it's Rub End. I think I think that it's Ruben. So hey Ruben, welcome to the stream, man. Welcome to the crew. Thank you very much for supporting it. And I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that you get that little welcome email, which includes a link to get a couple of fist bump patches. Pop them on the next time you go play live somewhere, or the next fashion show you've got. And a digital version of my book, Poker Tilt. So there's a couple of sub perks for you to get you started. I'll tell you, I really appreciate you supporting the stream. I wouldn't be here without the subs. So thank you very much, and welcome to the stream. If there's anything I could do for you, hit me up, Dutch@DutchBoy.com. And Nilesy, thank you very much for the good luck wish. Always a pleasure to see Nilesy in the stream. The Fish saying, "Hey Dutch, I'm sitting to your right. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on the hand." So, the Fish is Major Giggles. That was a crazy hand. So you flopped the world against another guy who flopped the world. You both decided to slow play each other. My thoughts on that are when you flop a huge hand like you just did, 5-3-3, it can be really tempting to slow play it. Let me go ahead and actually write this down here. And thanks for saying that you're watching, and thanks for watching too. I really do appreciate it. I'm gonna give you a shark just because you're here. You are not you are not one of these guys who are so unaware that you don't even know that someone is live streaming the hands that you're playing. So thank you very much for being here, Mr. Giggles, Major Giggles, the Fish in the stream. So this is what I would say. It worked out for you. It worked out. You ended up actually, getting the maximum that you could have gotten from that hand, and you actually, by slow playing it, let's pop it up here really quick. I want to actually. This is the hand that he's talking about here. Here he is, Major Giggles, the Fish in the stream. And by that I mean that is his username on the chat. He's asking about this hand. So it just happened. We had the Ace Jack. It came out. Let's go ahead and replay it, and I'm going to give you my thoughts step by step. So we've got an open limper here, S&P 4 with the Ace 3 suited, which I don't really love. You know how I feel about open limping. I don't like it, but it's not as big of a problem early on in a tournament. So he open limps. Major Giggles decides to go and inflate the pot. No problem. I don't hate it. I don't really understand where you came up with the 101. I feel like you're probably going to the keyboard for that rather than making it kind of a consistent number. I don't really have a problem with it as long as you're not correlating your actual raise amount to any sort of hand strength, then it's okay. But in general, I like being, having a little bit, a little bit clearer of an amount there. So I like, making it, if you're going to raise it, I like making it 90. I like making it 120. I like making it 115. So you make it 3.5 times the big blind, where it'd be like 2.5 plus the open limp. I guess what would you be doing? Like how would that number be changing if S&P 4 wasn't in the hand, or let's say if Bob Ski had limped and S&P 4 had limped, would that number be changing at all? As long as it's changing based on the situation that you're in and not the hand that you have, it's okay. So let's see. I'm here with Ace Jack offsuit. It's not a great hand. I could have probably folded it, but I decided not to. I was like, you know what? We're gonna see a flop. We're gonna see a flop. We're going to probably be in position against two of these guys, and then we see the flop. It comes 5-3-3. I kind of feel like I mean S&P4 is going to double you up here because he has a 3. We know that. You know that now. At the time, though, you're kind of looking at that and just thinking, wow, I just completely crushed it. The only way that I can really see these guys... oh my gosh, we just got Bruttable just subscribing. Bruttable, man. Thank you very much for supporting the stream and being being here. Welcome to the crew. I'm going to go and make sure after I'm done streaming here to get you a little welcome email. Thank you very much, man. Make sure to get your fist bump patches and that downloadable poker tilt link for the ebook. You're awesome. Thank you very much for supporting the stream, Bruttable. Let's go back to the hand here. So here we are. We've got 348 in the pot, so it's a pretty small pot. I mean, relative to the big blind, it's we've got something like 11 big blinds in, but when you look at the stacks, it's a very small pot compared to what everybody has. Incidentally, there's another reason why I like I like the idea of starting off with a double add-on, because Major Giggles, if you had started with 8,000 here instead of 4,000, if you started the hand with with the double stack, then you're walking away with an extra grand. And if S&P4 actually started with 8,000 as well, it would be a pretty significant amount. So you end up with the cooler here, 5-3-3, and it's very tempting to slow play. I know it's very tempting to slow play. The problem, though, with slow playing is that there's an exponential nature here to how much you're going to be able to get on the turn and the river. Your turn bet and your river bet is going to be based on the pot. So in order to really extract the most value in these kind of situations, I think in general you're much better off just fast playing this hand and playing it as quick as possible. If you give a free card in this situation, you risk... The truth is, if I catch an ace or a jack, I'm not stacking off to you. I'm not doubling you up. So the only way that you're going to be giving a free card to somebody where they're going to get real excited to put more than 100 big blinds in the middle is going to be if they hit a 2-outer and you're beat. So I don't really think that this is a good spot to slow play it at all. I think that you crushed it, but you didn't crush it so much where you're completely invulnerable here. We got another subscriber. Wow, this is a great way to start off the stream. We got Philadelphia just subscribing to the stream. Welcome to the crew, my friend. Thank you so much for supporting it. I'm going to go and send over a couple of fist bump patches to you and a digital version of my book, Poker Tilt, as a couple of sub perks for you. Thank you for supporting the stream, man. Really appreciate it. And I'm going to tell you, it really does help. It really does help. It means a lot to me that you're willing to actually support the stream. You got some cool emoticons. I hope that you enjoy the emotes. And I want you to know if there's anything I can do for you. I'm pretty much in your pocket at this point. So a 3-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner to bounce ideas off of. If you've got any ideas or thoughts or questions or comments, I'm here for you, man. So, okay. So the fish is saying the 101, the amount was actually 3/4 of the pot. So he hit the 3/4 of the pot button, the 3/4 pot button. So that's fine. That makes sense. I don't really ever use that button. So that's better though. It's better than just going to the keyboard and coming up with something at random. So here's the deal, Major Giggles. I feel like you've flopped the world. You've got a super strong hand. It's not a completely invulnerable hand though. The free card that you're giving me and the free card that you're giving S&P4 could end up backfiring in a big way, because if we have a hand like 7s or 8s or 9s or 6s, the only way that we're really going to be loving our hand and getting a lot of chips in the middle is if we beat you. I'm going to tell you something else too, is that the turn card could easily have a chilling effect where like let's say that the turn card is like a king, for example. in that situation, there's going to be certain hands that would put in a lot more action that are going to slow down. So I don't know. I feel like you've got the pre-flop aggression. I feel like you've got a hand that you want to start inflating the pot in. If the stack sizes were a little bit different, if 348 wasn't a tenth of your stack, if it was like, if this were, 5 times as big, and you were looking at being able to get your whole stack in the middle with just 2 out of the 3 streets, then I'm fine with slow playing. But I think in this situation, you would have been better off just making the C bet on the flop. By the way, we got the Idol 31 subscribing 5 months in a row. Thank you very much, man. I think you would have been better off making the C bet here, Major Giggles, hoping to get paid off by an ace jack. I could have easily called see a turn card. S&P4 is going, he's going broke anyway. But let's say that S&P4 had pocket nines here. If he checks and you fire out a C bet, and let's say I fold, S&P4, maybe he check raises you, and you get to call there, and that would be a slow play. I think a lot of times when you're going to be slow playing a hand like this, it's going to be slowing down when someone takes the aggression from you, but you already have the aggression here. Once you start getting a lot of chips in the middle at this point, alarm bells should be going off. So I feel like, I don't know. I think that you would have been better off firing out a C bet on the flop. So S&P4, now he decides to go ahead because he's slow playing it too. And I actually don't. I actually think that S&P4 is in a different situation than you are. S&P4 is checking here, allowing you to go ahead and C bet. So his slow play is okay. I actually, if S&P4 were to have donk led there, I would have been critical of it. I think that his check was good. I think that your check there, I think that you should have bet it. So I check back. If that 8 was an ace, or if that 8 was a jack, then you giving me the free card would have paid off pretty decent, and I probably would have on the turn, how it probably would have gone down. Let's ignore S&P4 for example, and say that he has like queen jack suited and the 8 is an ace. He checks, you fire out a bet, and at that point I'm probably just calling with my ace jack, and then probably calling off a turn bet too. That's probably how it would go. So here though, I'm going to go ahead and expect that S&P4 fires out a bet. And then Major Giggles, you're like, okay, the gig's up. Now let's go ahead and raise. No, just slow playing still, and somehow S&P4 decides to go ahead and get the whole amount in on that river. So he tries to get a full pot size bet, and you put them all in, and S&P4 can't find a fold. I don't blame him. It's a $10 tournament. It's a rebuy. But what is S&P4 hoping that he can beat here that isn't a complete bluff? I don't really know. I don't think that you're ever shoving here with 8, 10. I don't think you're ever shoving here with worse than. I mean, maybe you're shoving with 3, 4, but probably not. Probably not. You're probably looking at that pot size bet and thinking, okay, well, let's just take it down with trips. It's not like I have the best hand here with like a 3-4 or a 3-10. You wouldn't have been raising there anyway. So when you make the shove here, S&P4 making the call. Wow, I didn't even see that. So you don't even shove. You decide to make the min raise, and at this point, S&P4, this is a really, really bad shove here. I mean, calling is fine. I don't really fault the call that much, although I think it's a little optimistic. But shoving is just like, here, you know what? I've got another 2,600 that I want you to have, Major Giggles. I've got another 1,463 here. I would like you to make use of this, because at this point, when you make the call there, it's just so optimistic for him to ever think that trips with an ace high is actually going to be taking the pot down. I didn't quite see that river action. Usually you're not going to see that kind of fire out a full pot size bet, making the min raise, and then re-shoving, and then someone looking down at at trips on this kind of board and thinking, yay. Pretty interesting hand. Yeah, I pretty much lost interest as soon as I as soon as I folded on the turn. I didn't see how that went down. It's pretty interesting. By the way, hey, Black Hat Poker. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. We're back to the actual tournament now. Black Hat Poker, thank you very much for supporting the stream. By the way, we got a new sub, Black Hat Poker. Welcome to the crew, my friend. I'm gonna go ahead and send you over a welcome email. Actually, I could probably do that here in the next minute or two. We've got a couple of subs. I'm gonna get the welcome emails too, but it's gonna have a download link to my book Poker Tilt, which is about a year in the making. I wrote every word in this thing. There's a little bit of poker strategy in it, but mainly it's just about coming up in poker. And then we got a couple of fist bump patches for you too. Thank you so much for supporting the stream, my friend. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. If there's anything I can do for you, Black Hat, please hit me up. Let me take a look. Rick the Hat says, hey, at Dutchboard, if I get a fist bump shirt, can I get my handle name printed across the knuckles? That would be cool when I'll meet in Vegas for the WSOP this summer. Rick the Hat, that would actually be pretty cool. I don't know how that would actually work out, but I like the idea of it. Right now, those fist bump t-shirts aren't for sale. Right now, the only way that you could have gotten those fist bump t-shirts is taking down one of the Twitch Poker League events or being top 9 overall. Wow. Second time tonight we get aces. I feel like that aces cracked meter, man. These aces never get cracked. It's the unbeatable hand. Let me go ahead and update our Nightbot because I think that we are actually going for the record of 13 aces in a row that haven't gotten cracked. But where are we at right now? Custom commands. We're looking at 5. Got to update it though because we're actually at 6 after this last time. So let me see here. And this is going to be 7. This is going to be 7. We're going to just crush it. Two, 3, 6. Are we loving our aces? Is it just like, yay, that's the flop we're looking for? Not really. Not really. Again, it's not this. It's not the kind of flop that I'm going to be looking down at 200 big blinds and being like, here we go, all in. But I am going to keep on putting on the pressure and value betting this thing until one of these guys takes the aggression away. 9 of hearts on the turn. Rocky 216, Dakota Cohoon. These guys, one of these guys could have a flush draw. One of these guys could have been slow playing a set on the flop. But I'm gonna fire out another value bet. We've got the aces. If a heart comes on the river, then we're just gonna be done with the hand. The king of clubs comes on the river. I think at this point, let's just go ahead and make the check. I don't really feel like inflating the pot any more than it already is. I think. Yeah. I don't feel like stacking. Like if one of these guys actually bet a full pot size bet, I'm gonna make the fold here. With Dakota Cohoon firing out 1,400 into 2 opponents on a king 9, 6, deuce 3 board. Yeah, it's pretty sketchy to tell you the truth, guys. I don't even want to pay it off, Dakota. I just don't even think that we're ahead. I feel like I'm trying to put you on a hand where I can beat, and it's really hard. Yeah, nice hand there. Klein Lee 522. Poker is the fastest growing category. Stables and Nucky and Nanonoko hold a big share of the fans, and Somerville. Don't forget Somerville. Somerville's the biggest one. Nice hand there, Dakota. I think, yeah, let me think about if you could have stacked off there. I mean, I'm not paying off a full pot size bet. That's pretty much all I would be paying off right there. If you, yeah, probably could have gotten more from me if you raised the flop and the heart didn't come, then maybe you stack me. Like, maybe you double through. But I almost just folded. Almost. But then I was like, whatever. It's $10 tournament. I'm going to hear it from these guys if I fold aces. in a situation where we're not going to know. Plus, it's just bad metagame. So you hit the set. You got a pretty nice chunk of change from me, Dakota. Nice hand. Yeah. Iceman Kiwi in the stream. Great to see you, man. Always a pleasure to have you here. Little Queen 10 offsuit. And hey, by the way, Corey, thank you very much for the compliment. I do appreciate it. Do appreciate it. What I missed? We got 9 Iron 12 chilling out with us. Great to see you, my friend. Who else do we got? Do we got any other names that I haven't given the shout out? Rocky making the open limp. I hate those open limps. I'm going to get out of it, though. Danny Port in the stream. Great to see you. Got the alert box up. Let me get a couple of these welcome emails at you guys. While we've got some downtime. When does that 30 start? Looks like another 21 minutes. And JPB16, super pumped about 200 streams this year. I'm gonna try to make it happen. I feel like I can make it happen. We're on. We're almost there. You know, we're 1% of the way there tonight. So here we go. Oh yeah, by the way, here comes a Dakota Cohoon hand. I'm watching it right now. Yeah. Change of that Nightbot. The unbeatable hand. There it is. Like a fool. Saying, should have folded aces pre-flop to balance your folding range. That's cute. Watching it now, Dakota Cohoon making the 1400 bet into 3125. Maybe I should just find a fold there. Anytime you're trying to find a fold in with a big hand like aces or kings, post flop, post turn, post river, it helps if you just repeat these words. It's just a pair. It's just a pair. It's just one pair. It's just a pair. It's okay to repeat that. It makes it easier to fold aces because when you say, man, it's aces, it's hard to fold aces. It's hard to fold pocket aces if you're like, it's pocket kings. How can you fold pocket kings? That's hard to fold. But when you say, oh, it's just a pair, you can fold that. We got the fish. Welcome to the crew, man. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. Really appreciate you being here, and also thanks for playing on wsop.com. It's always good to it's always good to have a thriving community of poker players, man. Thank you very much for supporting the stream, and let me tell you, I really appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for clicking that sub button. I'm gonna send over a welcome email. You know what? It's gonna be after the stream, though, guys. I got to focus here. I got to shake off the beats, and I got to focus on actually trying to put down the final table. But after the stream's up, I'm going to send over a welcome email with a download link to my book, Poker Tilt, and a couple of these fist bump patches. We got these printed out. They're stick and peel. Pop them on. They're kind of fun. And if you wear these, if you wear one of these, this is why I had those aces cracked, because I wasn't wearing one of these fist bump patches, because the run good is real. If it's basically like a shield from bad beats. Nothing bad will happen at the poker table as long as you're wearing the patch. Nathan, thanks for sticking up for me, man. I don't know who that is. We got Jen Joy in the stream. Good to see you, man. And Danny Port. Yeah, pretty sure he's not talking about Kev Math Ferrari. I would think that's pretty unlikely. But I don't know who the other guy is. We got Aces Up in the stream. Great to see you, man. And Aces Up actually had a question I wanted to talk about. He is a recent subscriber to tournamentpokeredge.com, which hey, Flatty, how you doing, man? So Tournament Poker Edge was one of the sponsors of our Twitch Poker League. So I like that site a lot. Killing Bird, Mike Leah, Big Dog. A lot of strong players. Poker Noob, 5 months in a row. Poker Noob 84. Thank you very much for being here another month and sticking with us. Really appreciate you being here, man. Poker Noob. Thanks so much for staying another month. Really appreciate you being here. Okay, ace jack off. I think I'm gonna make the fold here. And Dakota Cahoon. Dakota Cahoon says he was wearing his patch when he hit the set against the aces. That would explain it. I wasn't wearing mine. You were wearing yours. The power of the patch compels you. Oh man. Okay, so hey, aces up. Let me tell you something. I got your email and I want to talk about it. Aces Up just recently subscribed to Tournament Poker Edge. And Tournament Poker Edge has some really good information on there. One of the things on there was a I think it was TPE. I think that's what he said that he got. One of them was this chart where it kind of goes through and starts talking about pot odds, and it says, okay, well, if someone bets half pot, then you need to be a 33% equity favorite or better to make the call in an all-in situation. If someone bets a quarter pot, you need to. Let me see if I can actually get it up so that I don't have. So I can just show you guys the picture, the odds chart here. Let me see if I can find it. It was a slide, is what it was. So let me see here. I'm gonna forward this to. And I'm gonna pop it up. I don't think that they're gonna mind. I don't think that they're gonna mind if I pop up the slide and talk about it, because I do want to talk a little bit about pot odds, about implied odds, about reverse implied odds, but mainly about how to actually figure out whether you can make a call or not. That's basically what they're trying to get at with this slide, and I think it's worth talking about. And I also think it's definitely worth talking about when you're making the transition from online to live, because it's definitely easier to make these kind of can I make the call or not? Am I getting the right odds to call or not decisions when you're in an online spot and you can actually see the pot in front of you. I mean, here we are, 1,440 in front of you. MJ Gallica's making it 480, so you're like, okay, it's 480 to call, 1,440 in the pot. What do my odds need to be? And this Tournament Poker Edge slide kind of spells that out. And they're like, okay, well, if someone bets half the pot, then you need to be better than 33% favorite to call. Here, Primetime decided that he was going to win more than 33% of the time, I guess, so he made the call. I don't know if he was actually thinking about it in those terms. When you're faced with a river bet, usually you're not thinking about it in terms of, okay, well, I think that 4 out of 5 times when I make this call, I will end up losing, but 1 out of 5 times I'll win. Most people don't think about it in terms like that, because you're only making the call once. This is that's a situation that's never going to come up again. And when people talk about like GTO, game theory optimal, balancing ranges, what they're kind of saying is that you need to play a hand in a way that if you were to play, if you were to play that situation, an infinite amount of times, then a certain percentage of the time you should be bluffing, and a certain percentage of the time you should be value betting, and usually your bluffs are there to kind of make it so that you sometimes get called on your value bets. I mean, usually your bluffs themselves don't need to be profitable. If your bluffs by themselves are profitable, you're probably not bluffing enough, because your bluffs are really there just to balance out your range and make it so that they have to pay off your value bets. That's really why you bluff there. It's a bit of an overstatement and a bit of a simplification there, but just let's get to what's my point. My point is I want to talk about pot odds. I want to talk about this Tournament Poker Edge. This aces up. So TPE is a great training site. Squirrel. Yes, I'm getting a little distracted here. My point is I want to talk about this slide. Let me get it up. Download, save to my computer. We'll save it to the desktop. Odds.jpg, and let's add it to the stream. A media file. Where is that? This is like juggling, you guys. There it is. So this was the slide. Common pot odds. Some common bets you might face and the pot odds that they offer. Pot size bet. So if somebody bets the pot, you need to win 1 in 3 times or have at least 33% equity to call. Half pot bet, you need to win 1 in 4 times or have at least 25% equity to call. 1/3 pot bet, you need to win 1 in 5 times or have at least 20% equity to call. So pot odds will never be more than 50%. So if you have at least 50% equity in the pot, and then any bet is letting you the correct price to call. What does that mean? Well, it means that if you are more than 50% favorite, then someone can bet everything, and you're supposed to make the call, and that's a little bit of a simplification too. Because there's some other factors to consider, such as chip inflation, such as the actual value of surviving to have more situations to make profitable plays. But overall, I mean, it's right in a vacuum. This is right. So is this helpful? Well, it's kind of a weird way to express all what they're saying here. I can tell you when I'm at a table and I'm trying to think about whether I have the right odds to make a call, the call or not. The first thing you have to realize is that when you're looking at this 33% equity, 25% equity, 20% equity, what you need to understand that this is kind of assuming that there are no more streets of betting that you're going to have to face. There's going to be lots of times when you're a 33% favorite. Well, I guess you can't call yourself a favorite in a hand, but like you have 33% equity in a hand. Let's give a real concrete example. You have 9-8 of clubs. The flop comes out ace 10 7, and your opponent bets a pot-sized bet on the flop, and you're thinking about calling, and you're like, okay, well, I have 8 outs. I have 8 outs twice. That gives me about 33%, 32%, somewhere around there. And how do we know that? Well, we count our outs, 8 outs. We use that 2% per street rule. So 16% to hit the straight on the turn, 16% to hit the straight on the river. It's a little bit of the more outs you have, the less accurate that is. But it's close enough for government work. So we're about 32, 31%. It's probably actually about 30%. So your opponent fires out a pot-sized bet. And you're getting about the right price to call. Let's say he makes it just a little bit less, and he looks at you and says, "Oh, I have the ace," and you believe him. And why do you believe him? Because when he says it, he actually shows you he has an ace. He's like, "You shouldn't call. I have the ace. I have an ace 2, and I know it's good, so don't call." And you're like, "Okay, well, I should call, right? Because." I'm getting the right pot odds. The problem though is that if you make the call on the flop, even though you are 33% to win the hand, you're also probably going to get blown off the hand on the turn. So most likely 80-something% of the time you're going to miss on the turn, and he's going to fire out another bet, and then you're going to have a much different calculation. So when you're trying to figure out like these pot odds, one thing that you need to understand from this slide right away is that this little equity number that they're coming up with right around here, that is assuming that someone is all in, or there's no more action left to come. Because when you're figuring out what kind of equity you have in a certain situation, you also have to understand that there's going to be more than one street of value. There's always implied other bullets, and when we think about pot odds, a lot of times we also kind of talk about implied odds and reverse implied odds in the same kind of sentence. Implied odds are those are the bets that you can kind of count on winning if you do make your hand. So future bets that you can win if you make your hand, and reverse implied odds are future bets that you can lose if you make your hand. So let's say that you have pocket twos, someone raises pre-flop, and you're thinking, okay, well, I flop a set, somewhere like 8-1, like something like that, I think. 1 and 8 times, 7.5 to 1, something like that. So you're like, okay, well, if I flop my set, then I'm gonna, I can stack this guy because I think that he's gonna have a bigger pocket pair. I know him so well that I know that he's going to have like aces, kings, queens, or jacks here, and if I flop my set and he has an overpair, he's going to stack off. The problem is that sometimes you flop your set and he flops a set too, and you stack off. So that's reverse implied odds. Anyway, let's talk a little bit more about how you figure this stuff out when you're actually on the fly. And I'm going to tell you, when I'm trying to figure out this stuff, there's a lot of ways to express odds and equity in a hand. If you ever do any sports betting, you know, there's lots of different ways that, you know, matchups are expressed and odds are expressed, and I think you know, the best way to think about odds when you're in a poker situation is think about it in terms of, you know, something to one. So saying you need to win 1 in 3 times, you need to win, you know, at 2 to 1. That's basically what it is. So a 33% chance of something happening is the same thing as saying it's 2 to 1, meaning 2 times it won't happen for every 1 time it does happen. 2 to 1, 33%, and it's best to kind of break it down into x to 1. A lot of times, like for example, if we go to Odds Checker right now, and we try to figure out what the odds of Bernie Sanders is or Donald Trump is for actually winning the election, let's look at it. Let's look at it, you guys, and we'll have this be kind of a. So we've got Hillary Clinton here at and they do it a little bit weird here. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. You notice that they don't do it as a x to 1. They do it as a kind of a fractional odds. 4 to 6, 8 to 1, 8 to 11. How this is working, I think, is that it's like a let's see, Democratic candidate. So 1 in 20, 1 in 14. What this means is that you have to bet 10 to get 1. You have to bet 14 to get 1. With Bernie Sanders being 8, that means that if you bet 1, you win 8. So if you bet 1 unit, if you bet $100 and Bernie Sanders gets the nomination, you win $800. If you bet $14, and Hillary Clinton wins, you get $1. This is kind of a weird way to express odds, and it's always kind of a head scratcher when you go to like Republican candidate and you see here they don't even put it in like an x to 1 format. Here we're saying Donald Trump, if you bet 2, you win 5. Marco Rubio, if you bet 8, you win 15. So they don't even have it in the clean x to 1 format. When I'm thinking about odds, I like to keep it really simple, and instead of, if something is like 5 to 2, I simplify it and it's 2.5 to 1. If something is 3 to 2, you simplify it and it's 1.5 to 1. When you're trying to decide whether you have the right odds to make a call or not, I think the best way to do it is to break it down, break the pot down into X, and have the 1 be what you have to call. So let's look at an example here. Evelyn just made a call made a bet with with kings. Let's look at it. The screen capture here. We'll get the hand history up. Let's look at that river bet. So Evelyn fires out a full pot size bet, and CC2CC should be thinking about it in terms of 2 to 1. So you look at the pot, 1680. You look at the amount that Evelyn bet, which is a pot size bet. The full pot is 3360. There's 2 units. You got to make 1 call, 2 to 1, which means that you need to win 1 time out of 3 for this to be a profitable bet. I don't really know what CC2CC called with. We're going to find out here in a second. But what are the chances that Evelyn would fire out a full pot size bet into 2 opponents without a king? I don't think it's too good. I don't think that this, most of the time when I'm looking at this, if I'm going to be making the call here with like a 2-pair type hand, I'm making the call thinking that I'm only going to win this about maybe 15% of the time. So CC2CC makes the call with a set, and there's no difference. There's no difference between making this call with a set of 10s or ace 7 or queen 10 for that matter, because the only, Evelyn with this kind of board is not value betting worse than a king, especially when they're firing out a full pot size bet. Sticky Slug just subscribed. Sticky Slug, welcome to the crew. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. And I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna get all the welcome emails out after the stream. But you're gonna get a digital copy of Poker Tilt, a little download link for that, a couple of fist bump patches, and some emoticons. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate you supporting the channel. Really appreciate that. So, I think one of the tricks to poker, and one of the skills that you just kind of develop, and one thing that kind of separates online from live players, is the ability to very quickly look at a pot and know what's in it, and to kind of be aware of how much of the pot someone's bet consists of, so you can get that so you can get that odd in your head right away when you're trying to think about whether you're making the call or not on the someone making an all-in shove, pre-flop, for example. Online they make it too easy. They make it too easy to look down and see, okay, 3,780 is in the pot and he's going to fire out. And then, back, I think 2002, 2003 is when Stars came up with the I think it was Stars, which came up with the half pot, 3/4 pot, 1/3 pot, the actual buttons and the pot size bet button. Before then, it was just a slider, and you just kind of had to slide it, and it went from 0 to all in. And people weren't really, it wasn't very easy to base your bets on what the pot was. When they made that, when they made those little shortcut buttons, those half pot, 2/3 pot, 3/4 pot size bet buttons, those shortcut buttons, it actually really kind of it really helped out a lot of losing players, because it made them realize, wow, maybe betting 3 times a pot or 4 times a pot is a mistake. Maybe that's something I shouldn't do anymore. And it just made it way too easy for them to standardize. When you go to a live setting, they don't have that sheet there anymore. Well, here Evelyn is finding out 520. There's no pot size. There's no pre-button for that, I don't think. Let's see. 240, 280. Yeah, there's no 520 button on there, so a little bit of an overbet there by Evelyn. So when you're playing live, that's one thing that's going to kind of distinguish. That's going to it's just going to come with practice. No one's born being able to count the pot right away and being able to put it down to kind of this odds part. But in my opinion, the best way to figure out whether you have the right odds to call something or not is first simplify it into that 1.5 to 1, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 3.5 to 1 type format. And then figure out what your actual equity in the hand is. And when you're trying to figure out your equity, make sure that you don't count on equity that you aren't going to actually be able to realize. And by that I mean, don't count an 8-outer as a 32% equity holding if you are going to get blown off of your hand on the turn. So those kind of very clean 3.5 to 1 pot odds, should I make the call questions, really they come up most often and most cleanly in situations where someone is all in, or someone is making a river bet, or someone's making a turn bet, that you're not going to be paying off anymore on the river if you don't make your hand. So that's really but in my opinion, like from my experience, the easiest way to make those kind of, to run those kind of calculations at the table on the fly, there's no real shortcuts, but the best that you can really do is simplify it to that X to 1 format. And it's not that hard to count the pot and count the bet and compare it to what you're going to have to call. So 1.5, 2 to 1, 5 to 1, 6 to 1, whatever it is, and then use the 2% per street shortcut when trying to come up with your own equity in a hand. And you need to have a general understanding of what all your pre-flop matchups are. You need to just memorize that. Get yourself a little odds calculator and run heads-up matchups that you don't know. but it doesn't have to be perfect. I know a lot of players, for example, you know, they're going to be off by like 1 or 2%, but it's close enough. It's close enough. Anyway, that's it. That's all I feel like talking about. I feel like I could go off, on for an hour or two when it comes to pot odds, implied odds, reverse implied odds. I could keep on talking about this until I'm blue in the face, but we've got a tournament to win. Let me see. I feel like the $30 tournament was supposed to have popped up too. Maybe I didn't sign up for this yet. I don't think I did. So a little pocket sevens. Let's go ahead and inflate this pot. Let's do it. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Sneeze, damn you. It's right on the cusp. It's gonna happen. I guess not. Okay. Ferrari Doctor asking Dutch, what's your biggest online BNK? And sorry guys for ignoring the chat while I was going through that little bit. V-Nick open limping, and then deciding to shove the whole stack in. Okay, buddy. You got it, V-Nick. I'm not going to put my whole stack in with pocket sevens. Maybe you got ace-king. I just don't think that he's ever doing that with sixes or fives or fours or threes or twos. So, at best, I'm looking at a slight favorite in a coin flip spot. But I don't think that's the case. I think it was just slow playing, and then he decided not to slow play and try to swing for the fences. Maybe we get to see. Maybe Make It Rain will get a little stubborn and we get to actually see V-Nick turn over his aces. Queen Jack, what are you doing? Okay. Actually, it's not quite going to be the bony fish. We're going to actually put the bull on him. And at the 5100. Then straight shoved for 4600 after I ISO raised with sevens to 400. There it is. And Make It Rain, deciding to go ahead and dig him a little bit there. Just digging him just a little bit there, being like, oh, Queen Jack, why would you raise with Queen Jack? I called you with King Queen. Why would you raise with Queen Jack? I don't understand like why Make It Rain has to needle the guy. He just snapped him off. It's just kind of adding insult to injury there. Yeah. Obviously, I don't like the open limp. I hate the shove. It got through me though. Make It Rain decided to go ahead and look him up with King Queen, which I don't like. But it turned out to work out. So maybe Make It Rain was actually paying attention to V-Nick when I wasn't. And this is why you got to pay attention to the table instead of focus on pot odds and discussions on that. Okay. Dune 9, good to see you, man. We got Gordon Gecko in the stream. Great to see you, Gordon. So, Ruben says, this is crazy, guys. I started playing poker a week ago. Spent more than 20 hours watching Dutch's videos, and after taking 8 hours doing math and understanding the draw and pot odds and the basics, and hey, I managed to get into the final table twice in a couple of online tournaments. This is amazing, man. Your time is really worthy of us. Thank you. Hey, Ruben. Thank you, man. Thanks for being here, and I really wish you the best of luck on... I wish you the best of luck in your poker journey, man. That rabbit hole goes deep. But the learning curve is quick. You can get really good really quick at this game. So it sounds like you're on the fast track to greatness. I hope that You know what? I hope like 10 years from now, you're going to, you're just going to have trophies and bracelets everywhere, 20 million in career earnings, and you're going to be like, I remember. Do you remember 10 years ago, Dutch, when you used to do that Twitch thing? I'm Ruben on there. I was like, no way. You're like, yeah, that was me. I was like, wow. It's pretty cool. Hey, I wish you the best of luck, man, and thanks for coming by and saying hi, and also for supporting the stream with a sub. Really do appreciate that. Let's take a look here. And 408 Shaytac. It shouldn't take too long. Let me make sure that you were on the spreadsheet and it did get sent out. And then I got to sign up for this this $30 rebuy. Okay, little jacks. Let's do it. Making the raise. Little King 7-4. Not really the best flop. But yeah, I'll fire out a little C-bet into these two guys. See if we can't just take it down. I don't really feel like giving free cards to the ace queens, the ace tens of the world. I think that the king kind of scares us a little bit. But yeah, I'm okay with that. So H2O Man making it 3.5x. VNick deciding to go ahead and make the call. I'll go ahead and make the call as well. I don't really think Ace Queen is a powerhouse hand, but it's too good to fold. We'll see a flop. 6-5-2. Completely whiff it. Check fold. Sure. So VNick missing the flush. Does he go for another bullet? He should. I gotta make some coffee, you guys. Gotta love this guy VNick. Now he's just done with the he's like okay, I'm just gonna go all in. Gotta love this guy. This guy has passed the past his pain threshold, and then Make It Rain deciding to go ahead and donk. He loves calling people donk in a $10 tournament. Free chips over there, he says. Keep it classy, Make It Rain. Gosh. Probably just one of those things it's okay to think that. It's okay to think that. It's okay to say it to your buddies. But you don't need to be saying it at the table when someone is throwing away, $10 at a time. Just keep your mouth shut and take it. Make the fold here. So VNick open limping, King 3 suited. I'm kind of tempted to make the call because I feel like there's a pretty decent chance that VNick would go the whole way with it. get into this $30, guys. And we'll just switch back and forth between the 30 and the 10. Yeah, let's go ahead and add this guy up. So Rick the Hat asking, is Exmoor done with the pizza yet? No, not yet. She's taking a little nap, and when she wakes up, she's going to finish the pizza. 9 iron 12. It says, that would never happen with Exmoor. That's true. She keeps me on my toes for sure. She's like, you gotta change the hand history. That's why I like streaming with Exmoor. She makes it better. She makes it better. Ferrari. Dutch hates chat tonight. I love chat. I love you guys. But yeah, I wasn't paying attention to any of the chat for a little while. And then I do see the chat, and it's like, oh, okay, I've got the replay up, and I change it, and then I got like 5 minutes of people like whispering me, by the way, you got the replay up, and I'm like, I know I fixed it, but we were on a delay, so it's like, you know, it's just that's the nature of it. It's the nature of the delay. So Philadelphia, when it comes to Twitch, usually I focus on MTTs. I've played some cash on stream, but I don't really like it as much. I feel like the tournaments make for a better stream. I feel like it's also deeper. It is deeper strategy. Tournaments are deeper strategy than cash games. A lot of people disagree with that, but I'm going to tell you the truth of it. Cash games is all about game selection. Cash games is all about just finding the dumbest guy in the room and sitting next to him. It's a little bit of a predatory nature to being a cash game pro that doesn't exist with tournaments. Tournaments you play with who they sit you with. You can't just like leave tough competition. And sure, cash games can go deep. You can be like, okay, well, you get two good players, and they can engage in some pretty tough, pretty good leveling wars. We're doing half pot, by the way. That's true, but if you really have to take your cash game too deep, then you're better off just getting up and playing somewhere else. That's the truth of it. So what do you do? What do we do here against Schwack 1318 when I'm firing out 300, and now he just raises pot on a 9-5-6 board. We raised pre, he makes the call, we fire out, and now he's just potting it. It's a $30 rebuy and add-on, and we've got an overpair. We're supposed to be good. I'm going to go ahead and step aside Schwack. Maybe he just moved us off of the best hand. Maybe. He could have easily moved us off the best hand. I'm not really, I'm not really wanting to pay off 100 big blinds to find out. It's just a pair. It's just a pair. D-Shield 300, good to see you. He says, good luck, Dutch. I just jumped into the $10 with you. Good luck us, man. Let's make it happen. Let's get a little final table here. Keeping my results going in a little spreadsheet as well. Making the fold. Making the fold. Draft better. Good to see you, man. He says Dutch on a Monday, no less. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're gonna have to put in some work to get up to the 200 streams. 200 streams in 2016. That's the goal. Oh. Yeah, I'm losing steam, guys. I think that maybe I need to take a break, put some coffee on. God, these guys. So Timmy77T open shoving for 70 something big blinds pre-ante. What does it mean? What kind of range does someone have to have where they're going to fire out six? How much was that? 6,000? 6,000? Doesn't make any sense. Okay, guys, I'm gonna be right back in 4 minutes. Gonna get some coffee on. You guys are awesome. Hey, thanks too for all the new subs. I really appreciate it. Way to get the new year started. Really appreciate you guys being here. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, we're back. We are back, full force. The rebuys and add-ons are over in the $10. We're in for one rebuy, one add-on, and we are in for one rebuy and zero add-on so far here. Let's go and make the call with our ace-3 suited. This is exactly the kind of hand that we like to see. Exactly the kind of hand that could end up putting some big numbers. It's not the flop to do it. Pretty much just done with this one. So check, 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 check. Not even going to sneeze at it. We just check back. Against 4 opponents, we don't, like, it's just suicide trying to pick up a pot against 4 opponents. We're just making the fold here on that kind of draw heavy board. So, done with it. So, hey, Decker, by the way, it's good to see you, man. Let me take a look at this. So, talking about Fossil Man selling action for an entire year, thoughts on it. This is the first time I've really thought about it. Let me take a look. I guess he had a Raymer package for 2016. So he's doing it at U-Stake. I haven't really been that impressed with U-Stake, to tell you the truth. Looks like he's already gotten 53,000 of his goal, which is pretty good. Pretty good. It has been 11 and a half years since I won the main event and 23 years since I started playing poker. Notes from Greg. Let's take a look at it. You guys want to see this with me? And we'll have thoughts on it. Wow, he like wrote a book. Okay, so I guess he did something similar. Let me go ahead and I'm reading the thread here. And now I'm reading the package info over at ustake.com. Ustake, another one of these staking platforms. I think staking platforms are going to be huge in 2016 and beyond, but I don't know. I don't really love the interface. Let's see what we got. I'm accepting. I'm going to go ahead and actually show it on the stream here. Nah, we don't need to show it on the stream. Let me just read it really quick, Decker. I'll give you my thoughts. So he's blaming it on his wife, saying the reason he has to sell pieces is because of his wife. I guess I can kind of understand that. I don't really think it's a good idea to go for like a huge long-term, year-long staking deal. Like, why not just do pieces? Why not just do event to event? It seems better for everybody involved. Long-term deals make sense if you're running a makeup total and you don't really know what you're going to be playing. But I mean, this isn't even a set schedule. This is just like I'm going to raise X amount of money, like $100,000. I'm going to just kind of play at it. And then he's going for a 40%. Let me get this right. So putting up 100,000, and he's putting up 20 of the 100,000. Uses a real small number plus 400, as if we're up 400 at the end of the year, this is how we would divvy it up. Let's say that we were up $400 on our $100,000 investment. Yeah, ZASDF Unreal. I don't think a nationalized government-sanctioned poker is going to happen anytime soon. There it is. God, I've been trying to get that out for orbits now. Oh, it feels better. It also kind of feels worse. So Dickman making the raise to 262. A little ace-10 offsuit action. All three moves feel wrong. All three of them feel wrong. Making the raise feels like it's out of position, kind of opens me up. Making the call is just like hoping to catch and then check folding when we don't. Making the fold feels like it's too good of a hand to just straight fold. All of those moves just feel wrong. And we got Lauren Koss in the stream. Great to see you, Lauren. I hope that you're having an awesome new year. Making the fold here. Game Master Poker in the stream. Good to see you, man. And we got a host, Gags30, hosting us. Thank you very much, Gags, for the host. Really do appreciate that. If you're new to the stream and you don't know what you're watching, here we are playing wsop.com. This is a $30 3K guaranteed, so it's a $30 rebuy and add-on. So minimum it's going to cost us is $90. Sometimes it costs us more. And then first place is going to be around $1,600, $1,700. We're also in the background of this one playing another tournament. The 2K guaranteed right here. There's a $10 rebuy and add-on. We're in for $30. The double buy-in plus the add-on. 184 people playing it tonight, which is that's actually pretty good for a Monday. $1,260 up top. So yeah, best case scenario today is we just take down both of these tournaments and we're up about $3,000. Worst case scenario is we whiff everything and we're down. Shoot, I don't even want to think about worst case scenario. But hey, thanks for the host and thank you for being here, you guys. Oh, Nikki 2 cards not going too well. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. Okay, so let's go ahead and make the in this 3K, we've got Timmy 77T open limping. Let's go ahead and make the isolation raise. We'll see what he does with it. Timmy TT calling. Now he checks really quickly. We'll fire out the same amount, 400. So I guess another problem with this kind of year-long deal, right, Decker, is let's say he raises 100,000, and he's down at the end of the series. Let's say he's down 40,000. So 60,000 left in the little bankroll he's put together. Now, fast forward to Legends of Poker. Let's say he's playing some HPTs or something. It seems that if he makes 30,000, so at the end of the year he's at minus 10, he doesn't walk away with anything, right? I guess he gets his investment share back, so he's actually he's got some skin in the game, so that kind of helps. That kind of helps him avoid kind of negative situations where he would take unnecessary chances to, hit it out of the park, because getting like 7th, for example, isn't going to get him to the point where he actually walks away with anything. I don't know. I feel like it's I feel like it's just kind of a messy deal, and I don't really like it, to tell you the truth. I think that you're better off doing just individual events. A lot better off. And I'm not convinced at all that a 40% free roll with no makeup is really profitable on a backer's point of view. That's probably not going to do. Ugh. So that's kind of cool. He says those investing $1,000 or more will get a piece of autographed memorabilia mailed to them within a few weeks after we start. Okay, that's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. So I'm going to tell you something too, guys. It's a bad idea to ever do anything where you're backing somebody for cash. It's a bad idea. It gets really, really messy, and you just open yourself up to fraud. I don't understand like why he would try to tack on something that's very difficult to verify or to put any policing on. You shouldn't ever try to put together a cash deal into a tournament deal, and you should basically just never get backed or back anybody for cash, period. Even when you're there watching them play, even then, it just opens yourself up to fraud. I've had a couple of friends and backers who have tried, and I can't think of any times when it's really ended up well for anybody involved. I think it's a bad idea. I think it's a really bad idea. Man, what do we do here with Digma? Here he is making the 315 raise. I feel like ace 10 is just, again, all three options feel kind of wrong here. Let's go with the less wrong option. Go with a 2.5x raise. I think that is that's going to be the best bet. We set ourselves up for a little bit of a C bet here. Fire out to 750 again. Wait for it to go down to that trailing digit, I guess. And we get called. So the 8 of diamonds hits. He called awfully quick. What do we put him on? Probably some sort of pocket pair, like 5s or 6s. So we probably have some outs here. I don't really think that... I mean, if he doesn't believe that we have the queen, I don't think he's going to believe it now. So let's check back. It's probably an out. Probably one of our outs. Can we get some value out of him? Possibly, yeah. Let's do it. Let's try. No. So maybe if we made it less, maybe if we didn't go for a half pot size bet, maybe if we went for like a quarter size pot bet, maybe we get paid. That is pretty interesting, like a fool, about the New York Attorney General saying that the match plays are fraudulent. So the idea here is that when you say, look, you get a 100% match play, deposit $100 and we'll match it, another $100 to you, but then you don't actually let them withdraw it until they've played enough action where they're basically raking off $100. I can understand the case that it's actually a misrepresentation, that it actually is fraud, because what you're trying to tell them that you're giving them free money when what you're actually doing is just giving them the rake back. That's basically what it is. We're going to give you your rake back up to $100. I can understand the argument there. I think a lot of times, they all have an asterisk next to them, and then you have to actually really dig deep to find the fine print. So most people, when they see $100 free just for signing up and depositing $100, they take it for just the face value of it. You and I don't. You and I understand that when you're looking at a match play bonus on a gambling site, more often than not, you're going to have to be playing that through to the point where it's not. You're not really getting much back for that match play. It used to be that was a really good way to hustle the casinos. That that give you 100% match play bonuses up to like $500, up to $1,000. Then you'd have to play it through. In games like blackjack or whatever, and you'd have to gamble it maybe 8 or 9 times over. But by the time you did, your expected value was in the decent hundreds, $300, $400. You could do that to 10 or 20 sites and put together a nice little $10,000 roll with very little risk. But the marketing departments for these gambling sites have kind of gotten a little bit more savvy. And S may be asking, did I watch any of the WPT Philippines this morning? I didn't. I did get the delay. Longest 4 minutes ever. It might be a little bit longer than 4 minutes, I gotta admit. It might be, Lauren. He says, this is the longest 4-minute delay ever. I think it might be a little longer than 4 minutes. I think it might be like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. We could time it. I'm going to time it. So, Tumbleweed at the other table, making a little open limp in the small blind, and it just makes me want to try to take the pot. It works. It works. I hate those open limps. I especially hate open limping in the small blind. I feel like you're just inviting somebody to come over the top of you. And I think that if you're looking at like a strong hand and think, oh well, I'll just get tricky here and open limp and then let him raise me and then I can re-raise, that just seems transparent to me. And I think that you more often than not you're going to you're going to accomplish what you want better just by firing out the raise and hoping that he re-raises in position, then you can make the 4-bet over his 3-bet. I gotta tell you, Evelyn at this other table has really been putting in way too many chips. It's gonna have to be a little bull. Gosh. Got that sneeze going again. Sucks. Be like Mike making a raise. 2 callers, and we'll make the call as well. Not the flop we're looking for. Check folding. This was kind of a tough flop because we could hit a king, we could hit a queen. This is the kind of hand that we're going to be out of position. And a lot of times we could hit our hand and it could not, we could be behind. So it's kind of a tough hand to play. We got to be willing to lay, to let it go, even if we do hit a king or a queen. But it's good enough where it's still worth playing. Gosh, you got to love this guy, Timmy. What is he doing? So he fires out a pot-sized bet with absolutely nothing, and then on the turn he ends up getting a gut shot straight. And he decides to put the rest of it in. Are you going to come along for the ride, Timmy? 1 more bullet, 2 more bullets. Why not? So let's give some more notes to this guy. So a full pot-sized bet on a jack-high board against 3 opponents with ace-10, absolutely nothing. Then shoved on the turn. This is all pre-ante. So he decides, no, I've had enough, you guys. I'm going home. I'm done. I'm going to make the call here, getting 11-1. Okay, so Philadelphia, as far as my own staking goes, if I was going to do it like right now, I would just do it on an event by event basis, charging markup. I think that's the cleanest way to do it. The markup should never really be much more than like 1.4 at the very, very high end, and I wouldn't try to get that much. I'd be looking at like somewhere around 1.2. Maybe 1.15 for the bigger events. But that's not how I do it. How I do it is I've been with the same backer since 2004, and it's just a long-term deal with makeup. So with a makeup deal, you pretty much just keep on playing and playing and playing until you're in the black. And anytime you're in the black, you divvy up your profits, and you keep on going. And you have just like this long trail of reds, and you carry this makeup total with you everywhere you go. It's a little bit more stressful as a player. It's definitely more stressful as a backer because you don't really feel like you can leave, But I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's one of the bigger backers in poker. And he's had a lot of great players for a lot of big events, like Kata in the main event. He had Annette Oberstad in the WSP Europe main event. He's had me for all 3 of my bracelets. I mean, he's a pretty well-known poker player. I mean, everyone knows who he is. JD Cole says, "Hey Dutch, what happened to our OFC game? It froze, so I had to resign." I changed phones, I got a Nexus and gave the iPhone to Michelle, and then I broke the screen for her. I have to fix that screen this week, and it's gonna suck. But yeah, so the OFC doesn't work on this one. It's not. It's an iPhone only app. I'm sure that they have OFC apps, but I haven't messed around with one. So also, JD Cole, I'm gonna try to get that PS4 and the Kindle Paperwhite out to you guys tomorrow. It's gonna be about a week and a half before the T-shirts get out, but I've got the books ready to go, and I'm gonna try to get the electronics, the Kindle Paperwhite and the two Kindles, and the PS4 out. You're just getting the one Kindle Paperwhite and the PS4, but Seattle Pro and Nikki Two Cards are both getting a Kindle. Kindle Fire. That's the joke. It's a little ace eight of clubs. I like it. I'd be coming in with a raise if everyone folds. We've got Supernova 7-7, who I've got some notes on. I'm gonna go ahead and make the call here and see a flop with him. I think we've got some very long implied odds when it comes to that player right there. Little Jack 7-3. Not the flop we're looking for, boys. It might be a situation where maybe we can steal a pot here. Supernova just firing out the pot. Just pot size bet. Pot. Fold. Yeah, let's go ahead and make a raise here. So 2.5x is where I'm going to be at the 8160 level. Little Jack 2. We got JD candidate. Okay, JD. I'm going to go and fire out a half pot size bet on the flop, and I'm going to fire it out on the turn. Two streets of value here. A ten of spades hits. That's actually really good. That's a great card for me. So let's fire out another half pot size bet. Now the plan changes a little bit. And the plan is now to probably value bet the river. Yeah, let's do it. Little value bet. Let's go 22-18, actually. And he just shoves. So we're in for another rebuy in the $30. You guys might disagree with that fold, but I don't think that a 10 is ever good. Not when he shoves. It's good when he calls, but when he shoves, it's like, what am I thinking that he's bluffing there? I don't think he's bluffing. Wow, these guys. Jaguar getting it all in there with a 9-7 on a 10-6-2 board. I don't know where these guys are coming from. You know, I wouldn't really think that it would just be that the action here would be as crazy and loose as it is tonight on a Monday night. But here it is, 17 players so far being eliminated too and not taking that add-on opportunity. It's like what the hell, man? So Seattle Pro, the shades are not shades; they're gaming glasses. They're these new gaming glasses that BSO's come up with, and they do help when you spend a lot of time in front of the computer. They help quite a bit, but it's not going to be the Blue Sharks. They're the Blue Shark gaming glasses that he's putting up. He's not putting up the shades. And I have to figure out exactly what the deal is with that, because he wanted to he wanted people to pick their own frames and send them in, but I don't really see that happening. I feel like no one's gonna want to send frames into Blue Shark Optics and have them put in the lenses. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and call here with any two. Take a look at this one. That's a fun one. And just fold 1017, saying, do you mind sharing if you're currently in makeup? What's the longest you've carried makeup? Sorry if you don't want to talk about it. No, it's no problem at all. I'll tell you, just fold. The way that makeup deals work is you're always in makeup. That's how it works. When you're not in makeup, that's when you split the money. So unless you cashed in your very last tournament, you're just always going to be in makeup. It's just how it works. This might have been a 2.5x raise. The thing is though, Evelyn's been willing to get a lot of chips in the middle pre-flop. So I kind of feel like I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm going to get blown off the hand. So now Evelyn firing out. Let's make a little half pot size raise here. See if we can't get an ace to just put the rest of it in. It doesn't really help me too much. The fact that Stunt Bomb goes all in here. Now maybe it's, oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Now we just got to max it up. Ugh, jeez. So, Stunt Bomb. Drawn pretty thin there, my friend. Drawn pretty thin, but and that's also one of the, we just saw a bug on wsop.com. Evelyn made a raise there, and the raise was for like 17 chips. Take a look at this. This is just, it's just tilting when there's still like this bug on this site. Let me take a look. Take a look at this flop. So fires out 882. I raise to 2485, which is half pot. Stunt Bomb 86 goes all in, and the wsop.com software counts that as a raise. So it counts it as a raise of 15 plus 19, so 34, which then opens it up for, if we rewind here, then Evelyn re-raises another 34. That really shouldn't be able to happen. Yet there we are. Anyway, that sucked. But I think that we came up on top, right, because of Evelyn's money. Here, Supernova 77 made a min raise with Be Like Mike sitting out in the big blind. I made a little 2.5x re-raise. The flop came out about as good as it could. Supernova 777. What now, my friend? What now? Yeah, let's fire out a half pot. It's kind of hard for me to think that Supernova is going to put too much money in here. But maybe. Maybe. Otherwise, I'll just take it right now. A check back wouldn't be the worst thing, though, because we're not really too worried about giving free cards away to Supernova. But we can, we might be able to get Supernova to go for a little check raise bluff here, or look down at pocket 8s or 6s and feel good about the hand. So let's make the call. Let Supernova fire out on the turn. And yeah, I mean, we might be behind too, but I have high confidence in this hand. Top pair, top kicker is a great flop. I would think there's a pretty decent chance that Supernova is looking at 2 outs, maybe 3. So now Supernova checking. Fire out half of our pot, or half of our stack, a quarter pot, and probably, yeah, get the fold. Gotta love that. Always feels so lame folding for a quarter pot size bet. It's the right fold. It's the right fold, Supernova. If you're looking down at like an ace-10, you're drawing completely stone cold dead. So Supernova now doing the same thing, min raising. Let's do the same thing. 2.5xing it. And now we actually have a pretty strong hand to back up that 2.5x. $3,700 after GTR Wiz makes the call for 1,000. Wow. Okay. Let's just make the call here. Dodge an ace on the flop and get it in post flop. Now what? Now we're looking at a dry pot. We're looking at GTR Wiz and Supernova, and we got Supernova firing out 1,600 into 10,230. It's not really 1,600 into 10,230. It's actually 1,600 into a dry side pot of 780. Okay. So, Island Girly, good to see you in the stream. I don't think that's actually Island Girly. I think it's Mason Jersier asking, have you ever been berated by Helmuth or been at a table where he berated someone? I have been at a table with Helmuth. Little pocket sixes action. 2.5x. Let's do it. This is a pretty good flop, really, for pocket sixes. GTR Wiz making that raise kind of raises some alarm bells. But I don't think I'm going to give him credit for a bigger pocket pair. I don't think so. Wow. And then Supernova just firing out 17,000 into 2,900. I gotta think this one through, you guys. I gotta give this one a nice long think, because you know what makes me kind of suspicious here is why would Supernova fire out 1,600 with a set of fours, and now he's firing out effectively 2.5 times the pot. It's really, really tempting to make this call. Really, really tempting. Anyway, made the fold. Who knows? Poker is tough. Not knowing is the hardest part. This was fun. So that really sucked. Tumbleweed made the raise. How did that go? Tumbleweed raised. I called with the pocket eights. The flop came out ace, queen, jack. Tumbleweed decided to go in slow play. We hit the two outer. And now we're looking at like 6 bigs. You want to switch over here? You want to watch the end? God, Tumbleweed. I have to think about those sixes, you guys. Supernova 777. I just feel like he's been such a little bit of a sputard. Taking all sorts of crazy lines, overbetting, underbetting with the strong hands, though. So when he fires out that huge bet, it makes me feel like he feels like he's got the best hand. It also makes me feel like he feels like he's vulnerable. But he could be semi-bluffing with a hand like ace-4, ace-3, thinking, okay, well, he's got a gut shot straight draw. He's got the overcard. It could have been a semi-bluff, but I think it was probably more a situation where he thought that he was ahead, but also didn't feel like just felt like taking it there, which kind of means a hand like an ace-5, where pocket sixes could be ahead, but it could also mean like sevens. It could mean like 8-7, 8-9. It could mean like pocket nines. It's a tough one, man. I mean, it's such a big part of the suck about poker is that you just don't know a lot of the time. A lot of times you're not going to be able to know whether you made the right decision or not. Still reading this this U-Stake listing. It's pretty long. It's a pretty long-winded staking. It's like he wrote a little book talking about his staking. Gosh, I have no idea what to do here, guys. I'm looking at this Ace 9 offsuit. We got s02e002 man making a raise against Stunt Bum's open limp. I feel like maybe this is the spot. Let's just go for it. The nice thing here is Stunt Bum making the call opens him up to get squeezed out by s02e0 man. So that didn't happen. Instead, Stunt Bum makes the call and s02e0 man calls behind him, which is like the worst case scenario. Maybe it would have been better just to make the call ourselves. Wow. So we're actually a pretty nice little favorite against s02e0 man on that flop, and he fired out a bet, pushed Stunt Bum out. We were looking at a nice chance of getting right back in there. Yeah, firing out a bet there into when there's a dry side pot and you've got king high, maybe not the best thing to do. I love this tournament, you guys. This 2K guaranteed. I think I've seen some of the worst play I've seen all year, all 2016, right there. So, but we're out of it. We're out. GG. Think that we were in for a single buy-in, a single rebuy, a single add-on. So minus 30 on the year spreadsheet. 1/4/2016. And yes, I'm really doing this. I'm recording our wins for Twitch. Buy-in. Buys. That was 10 plus 20 rebuys add-ons. Pretty good flop. Firing out half pot into both of these guys. And payout 0. Dickman making the check. I think it's going to be a check back. And that ace is pretty good, you guys. Yeah, we're pretty, we can do this, half pot. So, Sticky Slug. go ahead and make the raise here. 12, 14, 40. Should actually probably make it 1920. We would be making it 1440 without Dikma in the pot. So when Dikma is also in the pot, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit for him. So ace-5 suited, we got PD Prano going ahead and making an open limp. Okay, let's open limp. Let's call. Let's see a flop with these boys. We got M. Lawson to our left. That's Michelle Lawson's, Ted Lawson's wife here in town. Ted Lawson is the bracelet winner. He took down his bracelet from a PLO match. And yeah, JD Cole. It would actually be illegal. It actually would. Okay, so Queen 2 offsuit. I think that it looks like a raise from here. Equal 2.5x. See if Can't Fake It, Luxbox Brian, and B Water want to just survive another hand and get their add-on in. Yeah. Looking at the chat, I don't think Bobby Baldwin does play much anymore. I haven't seen him for a long time, but every once in a while I'll walk into the Aria when there's like a big game going, 1,000, 2,000, or like maybe a 500,000 no limit, and Bobby Baldwin will be playing. A lot of times it's heads up too. So I mean he's still around Vegas, and he still plays, but I think that he's like in charge of, I think he's like the director of operations of MGM. I think. So guys, I'm gonna be right back. We are on break. Made it to the add-on period with well, about as many chips as we're supposed to have. Given that we put in that rebuy when we had, how did it work? We had the Queen 10, we raised, it came Jack Jack, we fired out a C bet, it came a 10 on the turn, we fired out a value bet, and then it came a 7 on the river, and we fired out another value bet, and had a guy to our left make a shove and bet us off our hand. So that's how we got down to the spot where we put two bullets into this thing instead of just the one. But yeah, we're into this thing for 120, so let's hope that we can turn around the Monday. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of a lame day. Maybe one of those should have stayed in bed days, but we have a good shot at this. We're in for, so it's the $30 buy-in. We're in for 90 rebuys and add-ons, and we have 30 in the 10. Result minus 1 at 175. 55 there, minus 30 there. Yeah, let's do it. Let's make this happen. We're going to be back in 3 minutes, you guys. Don't go anywhere. Why isn't this tournament up? Sorry about that. Yeah, 30's back up. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, guys, we're back. Little Jack 4 offsuit action. I'm looking around. JFK 87, Oil Boy, B Water, B Ball Stud, Luckbox Brian, Can't Fake It. The real tournament has started now. 41 out of 77. Let's get a number. How much is it going to be? 2,048. It's worth picking up. 1,185 for second. Top 20 get paid. That's what we're looking at, you guys, for tonight. Right there. That's what we're looking to do. I can make that happen.
We are gonna like take over the poker world.
We got I Am Sith Azagoth subscribing 6 months in a row. Thank you very much for being here, man, and thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for another month of supporting the stream. I really do appreciate it, man. And hey, listen, if there's anything I can do for you to make it up for you, if I can do anything to help you out in poker, I want you to let me know. Dutch@dutchboy.com and pretty much in your pocket. Thank you very much for supporting the stream, man. It really does mean a lot. It does mean that I can be here doing this, so thank you very much. So, Envy Rabbit 47, open limping. Yeah. Let's do this. We'll make the raise, probably get through Envy Rabbit. If we get through Envy Rabbit, we're probably getting through on top of you. Maybe not. But I'm okay if on top of you decides to go ahead and make a call and see a flop. I'm okay with that. Now back to my Raymer book. Making the fold here against JFK 87. It's a tough fold for JFK. If he that's a tough fold on top of you making the all in shove there. He's supposed to have an overpair beat. It's a tough fold though. And we got on top of you making the raise, 903. I'll make a fold here. Destronov asking, hey Dutch, I would value your opinion on the PokerStars changes, even if it doesn't affect you. But in general, do you think it's okay to make such a huge change, or do you think they are moving in the wrong track? Asking because I'm considering to move sites and because I value your opinion. Destronov, I think it's bullshit what they did. I think it's complete bullshit. Look, if they want to change their, if they want to change their VIP program, whatever, they can do that, okay? But they can't spring those changes at the end of the year for all those people who just made Supernova Elite and are counting on a full year's worth of benefits. That, in my opinion, amounts to stealing. It's fraud. It's unethical and immoral. It feels to me like they are ripping players off. Now, if they wanted to change the, and everybody agrees with this. I don't really know anybody who can, with a straight face, say, "Oh, it's okay to have a VIP program where you get, where you get your rake back for the following year, and then once all your VIPs, put in the million or so hands that it took to, to get there, take it away." No one's saying that it's okay. The only people who are saying it's okay are representatives of PokerStars, and not even the player representatives. Every player that's representing the PokerStars is either keeping their mouth shut or saying, "Yeah, this isn't okay, but I did what I could." I think it's a huge screw up. I think it's horrible. I've talked about it on the stream plenty of times. My heart, my sympathies go out. My heart goes out to all those people who were grinding every single day last year to make Supernova Elite. And then late November, they find out, oh, by the way, that 11 months that you just spent of your life to make Supernova Elite, playing bad games against tough opponents so that you could get your rake back in 2016, well, guess what? I can't believe that they would do it. I can't believe it. Like, when it was going on, and I'm listening to Negreanu say, I'm listening to Negreanu say, "Oh, I'm pretty sure that they're going to, they're going to back away from this position." It's really disheartening, and I think it just spells, it just shows what the new management's all about. And it's kind of interesting though, because the new management is kind of the same as the old management. Even though the owners are different, at the upper levels, it's still a lot of the same, key men and key decision makers. And it really shouldn't surprise anybody that much when it comes down to it. They've pulled this shit before when it comes to affiliates. I can't tell you, like during Black Friday, when they swooped in, they were the white horse for Full Tilt. Well, they weren't really the white horse for the Full Tilt affiliates. They came in, took all the traffic that we had been sending to Full Tilt under a rev share deal, and then said, "Oh, by the way, even though it's the same players playing at the same site, raking the same amount of money, all of you guys who sent the players there, well, you're screwed. We're not going to honor these rev share deals." And everyone's like, "Well, that sucks, but whatever." Black Friday happened. I think most of the affiliates understood that that's just the way it goes. It sucked. I personally lost a crap ton of money on that, like way more money than I'm comfortable with, and it really set me back in life for years. But whatever, like you roll with it. Fast forward, though, to June of this last year, and PokerStars did the same thing with their affiliates, but there was no Black Friday this time. There was really no excuse except read the fine print, we can do what we want. So that really started, for a lot of people, in the poker media who were part of that affiliate deal, and I wasn't, because as soon as PokerStars basically stole the Full Tilt affiliates after Black Friday, I was done with the affiliate game. I've never sent like I'm not sending any traffic to PokerStars or Full Tilt anymore after that. But whatever. You fast forward to this June when they basically stiff all their affiliates with no excuses. That takes it to another level, and they got away with that. And now they're doing it to the players, and it seems like there should be a line. It should be a line. You know, a PokerStars type site should think twice before screwing over its players. You know, they want to screw over their media affiliates. They want to screw over the people who are sending them traffic. Well, that's one thing, because it's kind of, it's kind of away from, like, behind the curtain and behind the scenes. But once you actually start screwing over your own player base, then I think it's a real dark shadow, and I'm not enthusiastic at all about the direction that PokerStars is headed. I think it was a really piss poor business move. I think it shows such a piss poor judgment and just a lack of understanding of what's going to happen. You know, there is going to be repercussions for that. The problem is there's not really a lot of great places to play. You know, PokerStars and Full Tilt, they're the top, and they've kind of got a little bit of a monopoly. But you just can't screw people over. People will move, you know, and I think I don't know. It definitely sours me on both of those sites. It makes me think twice about whether I really want to go out and leave the country to play W Cooper Scoops at this point. I was kind of on the fence about going to PCA. Now I was not on the fence. You know, as soon as that happened, I'd gotten as far as actually looking on Google Flights and actually emailing. Yeah, by the way, I want to see a flop. I don't really feel like 1,700 is enough to make me say I'm going to just completely give up here. I think also it sets a bad precedent when you start raising to 700 and folding for less than a 2.5x raise from the button. But yeah, I'm not super happy with it. But I think that when you factor in in a vacuum, it's probably a fold here. But when you factor in the metagame and factor in the fact, that you don't want people to think that they're going to be able to just, 3-bet light for not a lot and not have to play post flop, it's probably going to be a call. Yeah, I had gotten to the point where I emailed PokerStars, asked for their, asked for the whatever hotel deals they had, and was kind of budgeting it out. I had talked to one of the backers, and I was kind of thinking about it. Got my passport ready to go, and then that whole thing happened. I was like, well, I was on the fence anyway, so now I'm not. If I'm going to travel to play something in January, it's going to be to Australia and play in the Aussie Millions. Will I play W Cooper Scoop? Probably. I probably still will, but it definitely doesn't. It feels icky now. And I think they've done so much harm to their brand. It's not too late. It's not too late for them to reverse it. They could say, you know what, guys, we've thought about it. We've made a terrible mistake, but they're not going to. They're not going to. And I actually think that they're running that company into the ground. That's what I think. I think, I don't really play the stock market much, but if I was going to take a position on a Maya, it would be a short position. When you factor in the big Kentucky judgment that they just got hit with $800 and something million for their operations post Black Friday or post UIGEA pre Black Friday in Kentucky, and everyone's like, oh well, they'll lose on appeal. Oh really? You sure about that? Who do you think they're appealing to? They're appealing to a Kentucky appeals court, and oh well, they'll appeal all the way to the Supreme Court. No, they won't. No, they won't. They'll probably lose that appeal, and that's going to be a judgment that they're actually going to be able to collect. That Kentucky will actually be able to collect something for, and then for a Maya to say, oh well, if we have to end up paying it, we'll just get it back from the Scheinbergs. What fantasy world are you living in where you think Esau Scheinberg is like keeping the big $1 billion check that the billions that you wrote for PokerStars like in escrow and not spending it and like keeping it safe for you in case something happens? They're not going to be able to get that from Esau. That's ridiculous to think that they could. And if Kentucky can get that kind of judgment, I guarantee you there's a couple of other attorney generals out there, not only for the U.S. but probably for other countries as well, thinking, you know what, maybe we could make a little money grab here too. What would end up happening? Well, Maya would go bankrupt. PokerStars would probably get sold to some other company, and life would go on. And the site itself would probably still operate with a lot of the same key decision makers who are making these kind of bad decisions. I think Eric Hallreiser should take a lot of the blame for what's going on over there at PokerStars. Lee Jones, I don't know how much of a decision maker he is, but I mean he's coming out and trying to defend the changes and saying, well, something needed to happen, something needed to change. Okay, well, you don't change the promotion mid-state, like midway through it, and basically steal from your supernova elites, because that's what they did. That's what they did. They basically stole from their supernova elites. I think it's shameful. Anyway, that's what I think about Destronov. Thanks for the question. Let's see. B Water making the raise. I think I'll go ahead and defend here in the big blind. I don't really feel like 3-betting it. And I don't think I'm going to hold on too tight, even if I do hit an ace. But it does feel like folding is a little bit nitty. And Dogmile in the stream. Good to see you, my friend. I'm going to catch up with Chad after that rant. And don't even get me started on Jar Jar. Gosh, Isa Jar Jar Binkses. Isa Jar Jar Binkses. God, I hate that guy. The Bob Hatter. No. No, he goes, use an underestimator. No. Gosh. That's pretty funny, imagining Jar Jar Binks going over to the dark side. That's actually kind of comedic. Misa, use a dark side. it's pretty funny, man. Okay, so can't fake it. Yeah, I'll come at you here with a little 5-4 suited. Got those little suited connectors. Can we get through? Sure. This is not the spot you're looking for. And B-ball stud 21 open limping under the gun. You know what, B-ball stud? I'll isolate you, buddy. I'll isolate you. Maybe you're open limping with a bigger pocket pair. Maybe. Probably not. Probably not. If he's got a pocket pair, it's probably smaller than 7. So let's inflate this pot a little bit, and let's hope for something favorable, where 7s and 5s is going to look okay. That's not really what we're looking for. Not really what we're looking for here. Doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and fire out the same amount, 1,300. And probably get a fold from the weakish aces. Probably get a fold from like the 6s and the 4s and the 3s, maybe even the 8s. If he calls, I'm going to be pretty much done with a hand. If he check raises, done with a hand. Done with the hand. I mean, now at this point, I'm just hoping that he has like a king queen. So yeah, just done. GG. And we got NV Rabbit 97 open limping. I just can't help myself, you guys. When they open limp, it feels wrong to fold the hand. It feels like, okay, let's just take the aggression, set ourselves up for a nice little post flop C bet, and if they see a flop with us, so be it. Because most of the time they're gonna miss. Most of the time they miss, and most of the time they're gonna just check fold to a C bet. So wow, and B-ball stud decides to make the call. That was pretty crazy. I didn't really expect that, to tell you the truth. Let's go ahead and fire out a half pot size bet. The idea here. Yeah, let's do it. What do you think, B-ball? Does he go for another check raise? No, he just goes for a call. Which feels to me like a weakish ace jack. And that kind of sucks because I don't think I'm going to be able to get him off of this hand. And I don't think he's going to bet for me, so I'm going to have to get a little bit exposed here with an 8 high. Okay, so pocket jacks. Maybe we could have gotten him off. Maybe we could have gotten B-ball stud 21 off. And yeah, GG Donk, I love Poker Stars, how, their big plan for expansion is to get back into the U.S. market where there's only 3 states that even allow poker. So they're going to be competing with wsop.com for 200 people in Nevada and 450 people in New Jersey. Okay, maybe that'll turn the ship around. Then they're like, okay, you know what else is going to be big is this whole DFS thing is going to be really big. And then they announce Stars Draft, and it's like, okay, yeah, not really the greatest time to be trying to get into the DFS market. The writing on it seems to be on the wall for that industry. And Aces Up asking, is WSP.com in all 3 available states? I think so. I think that we're still in Delaware. I know we're here in Nevada and New Jersey. So it's pretty close. You got a guy sitting out in the big blind. You always have to think about um, maybe raising and going for it. And an under the gun raise always looks a little bit stronger than other spots. Can't fake it. Just shoving for 8,109, 20 bigs. Yeah, you know what? We've got a note on him. The note says shoved for 19 big blinds and the 30 rebind add-on in the small blind with king 8 offsuit at the 400-800 level. So now he's shoving for about the same amount at the 400-800 level, and we've got ace queen. Make the call, hope that we're ahead. So we're not quite ahead, but it's close enough. Let's win this flip. No, don't win the flip. We're down to 4,180. I don't think that we necessarily have to make the call there. But when you got a note saying that a guy makes those kind of shoves with king highs, then ace queen offsuit is a powerhouse hand. So we make the call. Against other people, making the shove for 21 bigs on under the gun is going to be an easy fold. Not against can't fake it. So we add to the already growing number of notes on can't fake it. Shoved for 21 bigs at $30 re and a, the 400, 800, or the 200, 400 level. I'll fold that, by the way. With 6-6 under the gun. So now we're kind of screwed. We have a little less than 8 big blinds. It's a pretty short stack, but whatever. We can come back. So also, by the way, just fold. Basically, what happened with DFS? What happened with DFS is basically, basically a bunch of attorney generals and and lawmakers got tired of seeing a DraftKings and a FanDuel commercial every other commercial break. Like every single commercial was DraftKings or FanDuel, win this, win that, and they said, "Look, this is sports betting. Let's shut it. Let's shut her down. Let's shut her down." And so, everybody who was trying to say, well, DFS is legal under this UIGEA exemption. Because of this little carve out in the UIGEA, somehow DFS doesn't violate, the general sports betting or the, like any of the federal or state sports betting laws on the books. And the attorney generals of a couple states were like, I don't think that's right. In fact, I'm pretty sure you're wrong about that. I think that we should put it to the test. And so far, the only people who are agreeing with that position that so many DFS employers are taking, that DFS is 100% legal in 100% states of states is their lawyers basically. So DFS is taking a little bit of a tumble. It's going kind of on a state-by-state basis now, where certain states are, kind of dealing with it in a different way. Nevada, for example, they released the A.G. Burnett, I think is the guy's name, who was in charge of the Nevada Gaming Commission, released a statement basically saying, look, this is sports betting and it's not allowed in Nevada. And if you keep on allowing it in Nevada, we're going to come at you for violating Nevada gaming statutes. And so they stopped. The very next day, they were like, okay, guys, no more DFS in Nevada. And I haven't really been keeping up with it since then. But I will say that I was very, very close to making a bet with somebody early on in the year around game one of the NFL season that said that I wanted to take the position that DFS wasn't going to be around in 2017, because he was going to give me long odds on this. I was like, I think the whole thing is going to come crashing down real soon. It's Robert Williamson III, and we got real close to making a long odds bet, 50-1, and Michelle wouldn't let me take the bet because she was like, no. We're still in it. Richard Parker open limping with the threes. We get it all in there with the jacks. JFK folds. Richard Parker makes the call. I probably would have called me too, Richard Parker. You know how I feel about those open limps, but I probably would have called me too in that spot, just because I think I'm only in for like 6.5 bigs, and it's just as likely that I have like an ace king, ace queen type hand where you're actually a slight favorite. Dogbone 2, it's not necessarily about needing a backer, right? It's more about there is always a game too big. Dogbone asks the question, Dutch, how rare is it to find a poker player who doesn't need a backer? I hear lots of stories about backers these days. So here's how it works, Dogbone. It doesn't matter how big your bankroll is. There is going to be a tournament that you want to play that you shouldn't be playing because it's too big. Case in point, Daniel Negreanu, who I don't know what he has in his Bank of America account, but what I do know is that it is probably not a 9-figure amount, and that's about what you should have if you're going to be playing $1 million buy-in tournament. So when he's playing the $1 million buy-in one drop, it makes sense for him to go out and sell some pieces or swap some pieces or sell some action and be backed. So it doesn't really matter. If you're a poker player, there's just not any poker players out there who've been able to make the kind of money where $100,000 buy-in tournaments, $500,000 buy-in tournaments, $50,000 buy-in tournaments don't hurt and are worth like taking a shot in. Good bankroll management says you should probably have about 200 to 300 buy-ins for whatever tournament level you're playing. On the safe side, on the you want to live dangerously, 100 buy-ins. Who has 100 buy-ins when you're talking about $100,000 tournaments, even $10,000 tournaments. At 300 buy-ins, that's $3 million. And the truth is, there aren't really a lot of poker players who have made millions of dollars and been able to keep it. Every tournament pro out there has 7 figures in tournament results. So you can go on Hinden Mob and say, oh well, he's made 3.5 million in tournament wins. He's made 20 million in tournament wins. Look at this poker player. He has 1.3 million in tournament wins. He must be a millionaire. That's not really how it works. Because they only track the wins. You don't really, when you're keeping score in poker on these tracking sites, they're not showing how much you're actually up. They're showing how much you've cashed for. So, if we just recorded cashes on wsop.com, we'd be like up, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on this site. But that's not how you do it. You have to say, okay, you're in for 30, you cash for 40. That does not mean that you're up 40. It means you're up 10, and then that 10 has to be like spread out to average out every single time you buy in for a tournament and lose, which is about 80-something% of the time. So yeah, the fact of the matter is, when it comes to poker and poker players and poker pros, every single poker player out there has less money than you think he does, with very few exceptions. There are very few exceptions to that general rule. Let's go ahead and make the call here, getting 8-1 to straight pot odds. It's very tempting just to make a shove here. But I don't know. I kind of feel like BB stud. I feel like we're a little bit exposed. Pretty good flop, though, for 4-2. And not the kind of flop that I feel like giving a free card to. So let's fire out a half pot size bet and see if we can just claim the equity here. If we get called in more than one spot, I'm just done with the hand. But if we get called in one spot, and it depends on which spot it is, I might continue. We got Luckbox Brian making the call from the big blind. An ace comes, which might help us. It might help us. It might mean that now we don't have kicker problems with our 4-2, or it filled up his little ace 3, ace 4 suck out hand. The 5-2-2 ace, that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and fire out a half pot size bet here. And I think that I'm probably going to fold if he shoves. God. Nice hand. It's so hard. I hate going for those value bets and then getting blown off a strong hand. Poker Mindset Coach, it depends on the deal, and really there aren't any like standard forms that you can just like download for those kind of deals. But hey, B-Water, I'm shoving. I like my hand. Ace Jack offsuit under the gun. We've got 6 big blinds. B-Water making the raise. I don't think we're ever getting a fold, but a lot of times we're ahead. Yeah, Queen 6. I'm ahead of that. Looking pretty good on the turn. We are still in it to win it. We're still in it to win it. B-Water. Queen 6 suited. I like it. I like it. Showing some moves. JD Cole 72 says, I need a backer to see Star Wars in the theater. $24 for a movie and popcorn. W2F. So are you just going by yourself, JD Cole? Leaving the kids at home? I would probably back you to see Star Wars in the theater, JD Cole. I'll tell you what, here in Vegas there's a couple of really good movie days. Over at the Palms on Monday, you can see any movie all day long for $5, and then at the Orleans on Tuesdays, any movie all day for $5. Yeah, we see a lot of movies. We see a lot of movies. Yeah, I really do miss DFS. I was having such a good time with it for the like 3 weeks I played it, and now it's just gone, and it's just so lame. It's just so lame that they took away our DFS. I don't really see any point in watching sports anymore. I was watching it actually. I got to think that like this crackdown on DFS has had to hurt the ratings. Yeah. Ugh. How close are we in this next hour? Another 11 minutes. And Ace is up. Says, I don't think there's a Star Wars poster I don't have. Well, I mean that my kid doesn't have. You better be careful saying that, Ace is up, because uh, in 10 years or so, when your kid moves out of the house, he's gonna take all of your Star Wars stuff. If you keep on saying it's his, he's gonna take it, and then he's gonna ruin it when he's like 19 and 20 and 21 and living like a frat boy. Uh, it's not gonna be good. You're gonna regret all those times when you tried to just own it, man. Just own it. You probably should have that conversation with him soon. Ace is up. Like the sooner the better. Sit him down and say, "Listen, son, I love you, but all those times that Dad talks about all of the Star Wars stuff and says it's yours. It's not. It's actually mine. And I just say that as a joke. It's just a joke, right? You know that when Dad says your Star Wars posters, ha ha ha, that we're all laughing because it is a joke, because it really is mine. You don't get to keep it. You gotta have that conversation with him, man. Otherwise, he's gonna grow up and he's gonna say, "Okay, see you guys later." He's gonna have his boxes of stuff, and you're like, Where are you going with this? This is mine, Dad." That's what he's gonna say to you. This is mine, Dad. and he's not gonna be laughing. He's gonna look at you dead in the eye and be like, "That's mine. That's my poster." You're like, "No." What is this promotional IMAX poster anyway? What could potentially cause the destruction of that father-son relationship? Promotional IMAX Star Wars poster. That looks pretty good. It's a good looking poster. It's like 10 of them, huh? You can get them for like pretty expensive too. Kind of expensive, man. Yeah, I don't think that the flush was out there, right? But it doesn't really matter. I don't think he's ever. Let me go ahead and replay the hand. The flush wasn't out there. There was a flush draw that was out there, but I don't think that he calls on the flop. Uh, with he doesn't have the flush draw on the flop when you make the call. Let me go ahead and show you guys where like how it happened, and I'm just sure. Sometimes you're sure, because he can't count on ever getting a fold out of me. So it just does. And if he had anything else, he's just not value betting it. He's just going to go ahead and make the call. So the only hand that he's really putting the rest of the chips into play and making the shove is if he actually has exactly a 5. And that's what he had. Yes, two's full. Talking about the hand right now. Yeah, and I don't have a doubt in my mind. I mean, maybe one of these days, a player like Luckbox Brian is going to turn over a 6-3 there of diamonds, and then type in LOL and then make the little donk out of me. But that's just not today. Not today. Let me go and show you the hand in question that people are talking about. It's when I folded that full house, value betting on the river, and then folding when he shoved. So let me get it up here. And this is not a fold that I'm going to have to lose sleep at night. There are certain folds tonight that I really have to think about. The sixes fold, I really had to think about that one. And I'm still thinking about it. The tens fold, when it came out like 9 high, what was it, 9-6-5, and I fired out a C bet and he fired out a pot size raise early on in this 30. I have to really think about that and think, oh, man, maybe that was not a good fold. But this one is not going to keep me up at night. Let's go ahead and review the tape. We got B-ball stud. Let me get it up here. And it looks like a tough fold. It looks like maybe a nitty fold, but I don't think it's either. I don't think it's a nitty fold at all. I'm pretty sure it's correct, and I also don't think. I also don't think that it's that tough of a fold either. Okay, so here we are. But I do think that most people go broke right here. We got 7,500. We've got BB Stud making the call. We've got Oil Boy making the call. It comes around to us. The first thing I'm thinking here is, are we ever folding this hand? And the answer is no. We're getting 8.5 to 1 to make the call. And 2-4 offsuit, although it's one of the weakest hands you can have, it's good enough where it's not going to be a worse than 8 to 1. And then when you start factoring in the implied odds here, we could come up with a lot of situations where the pot is going to come out just like the flop's going to come out just right, and we're looking at a double up or maybe even a triple up. It's going to be a call here. So, but we could also make it a pretty good argument for shoving. You look at this 2,350. A lot of times we're going to be able to pick up a third of our stack without even seeing a flop if we can get through B-ball stud 21. The problem is we've gotten exposed for trying to do that before with B-ball stud. So let's not try to make that move and tempt him with a huge stack to go ahead and take us out. Let's just go ahead and see a flop and see what happens. So what happens? We kind of hit 5-5-2. If one of these guys has like pocket sixes or pocket fours, then we're way behind. If one of these guys has a 5, it's kind of hard for B-ball stud to have a 5. It's kind of hard for Oil Boy to have a 5. Not too hard for Luckbox Brian to have a 5. Maybe that's exactly what he has. By the way, we're going to be all in here in the tournament. See if we can get through. If not, probably have the best hand. Oil Boy, you going to double us up with an ace-jack? I think you will. You're going to double us up with an ace-10, ace-9? No, he's folding. I'll let you know if he doesn't. But so here's what do we do now? We've got we kind of flopped something. It's 5-5-2, so we kind of flopped something. Checking here is going to lead to a chain reaction of a check, check, and then B-ball stud 21. If he has overcards, he's definitely going to check. I don't think that he's ever going to see, there's no one with the pre-flop aggression, so we can't count on a C-bet from anybody. No one has that initiative. So if B-ball stud 21 had like a bigger pair, he'd probably bet. So if he's ahead of us, he's probably going to bet. Oil Boy, same thing. If he's ahead of us, he probably bets. If he's got the overcards, he probably checks back. Sometimes these guys are going to semi-bluff a hand like ace-3 suited or ace-4 suited. And sometimes, sometimes maybe they'll semi-bluff their overcards. But most of the time, I think that if we check, it leads to a chain reaction of check, 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 and a turn card that is never going to help us. It's just like we can't come up with a turn card except for a 2 that really helps our hand. So leading out half pot seems better to me because it it gives us a better idea of where we're at in the hand, and it also it's not a let's see where I am bet. This is not I'm betting for information. This is a claiming, this is a claim my equity bet where I think I have the best hand here. I'm going to fire out half pot to try to claim the equity and avoid giving these 6-outers right here a free card. So I fire out, and the only person I'm really that worried about having a 5 is Luckbox Brian. If Luckbox Brian calls here, I have to put a 5 in his range. But sometimes he has a pocket pair, sometimes he has a 2. Sometimes maybe Luckbox, he's in the big blind, so he could have anything. He could also have like a 3-4. He could have like an ace-3 and ace-4. So if I fire out a half pot size bet, since he also has to worry about b-ball stud 21 and oil boy behind him, it's kind of harder for him to make these kind of calls without. If he calls here, we can put his range on about 6 hands, and those 6 hands are going to be a 5 with anything, a 2 with anything, a 3-4, ace-3, ace-4, maybe 6-3, and that's it. Oh, and a pocket pair. So about 7 hands we can put him on. He makes the call here. B-ball stud folds, oil boy folds. The turn comes an ace of diamonds, and now he's got position on us, and he's got about a pot size stack in front of him, as do we. So when the ace comes, it kind of helps our hand because with his range now we don't have to worry about kicker problems if he also has a 2, if he's sharing one of our 2s. But if he had a 5, it doesn't really do anything for us. We're drawing dead if he has a 5 on the flop. I guess now the ace actually gives us an out if he did have like a random 5. So it helps when he has a 5, kind of. But it hits the ace-3 and the ace-4. So I'm not really loving it. I actually, at this point, I don't have any confidence that I have the best hand. I'm going to check, and if he fires out a bet, I'm probably done with it. I'm probably folding at this point. He doesn't, though. Instead, he decides to check back. So now what are we putting him on? I think if he had a hand like 6-3, if he had a hand like 3-4, even a hand like ace-4, ace-3, I think those kind of hands, I think that he probably fires out a bet. I just don't really think that, even with the bluffs, I think that the way this hand went down, he can put me on a 2 a good chunk of the time and fire out a bet and think I'm not going to really be putting up much of a fight. But he checks back. Like, okay, well, maybe I'm ahead. Maybe he had that pocket pair, and now he's feeling less comfortable with his hand. The 2 of clubs comes. It's 5-5-2-2 with an ace out there. So I think I can get called if he has the straight, like a 3-4. I think I get called if he has a pocket pair, like 6s or 4s or 3s. I think I get called with an ace, like an ace-3 and ace-4. And I think I get called with a 2. So when I fire out a half pot size bet, I'm expecting to get called with anything that I can beat. The only thing that I can see him raising with here is a 5. That's it. That's the only thing I can think that he's going to fold, or that he's going to not fold, that he's going to shove the rest of his tournament equity, his whole life in for. I mean, he can make the call here with a lot of hands, and if he's wrong, save himself 3,000, which isn't completely done. It's not like it's not like he has 0 shot anymore. He'll have a full orbit. Anything can happen. For him to raise here, he is representing exactly one hand, and that's a 5. And I don't think that the way it went down with me in the small blind, firing out half pot, leaving myself with not a lot of chips behind. I don't think that he can ever really count on a bluff working out. I don't think he can ever look at a hand like 6-3 of diamonds and say, I can move Dutch off of this hand right now. I think that if he was going to try to move me off of the hand, he would have done it right here. If he was bluffing, he would have done it right there. Again, this is where he would bluff. And the bluff would have worked. When I check if he's bluffing right here. Instead, he checks back with a 5. I fire out half pot. The only hand The only hand I can ever put him on here is a 5. And if, a lot of times, I'm wrong. I don't make a lot of, there's plenty of times when I'm like, yeah, there's just no way he can have anything else except X. And then the guy turns over Queen Jack after open limp shoving, and I'm just kind of left to scratch my head and rethink my assumptions about this game. But in my opinion, I just don't really think that this is ever a bluff. And a 2 here, I might as well have Queen High here because, really, I might as well have Queen High. What else is he What else is he making this raise with that I can beat? The only that's it. 6-3 of diamonds. I'm not going to put him on 6-3 of diamonds. I'm not going to put him on 6-4 of diamonds. I've got the 4 of diamonds. So it's not a bluff. It's a value bet, and it's not a value bet with anything that I can beat. Island Girly says he could have had a 2 as well. I don't think so. I think that he just calls with a 2. I really think that he just calls with a 2. And keep in mind that there's a lot more 5s. There's twice as many combinations with a 5 out there as a 2 out there. I just don't think that he calls with a. I don't think that he makes the shove with a 2. Maybe you're right. I'm pretty sure you're not, and I'm sure enough that I went ahead and folded for another 3,700 in chips. Actually, not even that. When he made the raise, it was less. It was like 2,900 in chips. So we're getting 4-1 to make that call, which means I have to be able to. When I make the call, I have to win it at least 20% of the time. When you factor in splits, it changes the math a little bit, but I don't think that we're winning this even 6% of the time. I think 19 times out of 20, when he makes this shove, we're looking at a 5. And the 20th time out of 20, when he makes a shove and we're winning, it's just because he either misclicked or he just got tired of poker and he wants to go to bed. That's what I'm looking at here. Anyway, let's get back to it. Here we are. 6-5 offsuit in the small blind. Off, making the 1760. Looking at 6-5 off. Not really enough to really ever get a fold. So it's just going to be a shove or fold. And if we're 3-bet shoving against someone like Voff or B Water who's opening wide, we're still going to have to fade we're going to have to fade those 5 cards. So wow, maybe here though. I could see us maybe getting through here. Maybe getting through. Oh boy. Okay. It's close. It's close. He's not supposed to fold if we shove, but he might have, and we might have missed our opportunity right there. Heatback Records, good to see you in the stream. And let's see. Making the shove. Smash1579 says you can put him on a 2 because he donk bet the flop. Maybe. I mean, I do think that he would think that if we lead out on the flop, we probably don't have a 5. He's probably putting us on exactly what we have, okay? Which is why I don't think that he can make that shove with anything that we're beating. So you're saying, okay, you think that maybe he's making the shove with a hand that we're tying. Maybe. I don't think so. I just don't think so. I think the chances of us winning that are like 6%. The chances of us chopping it are maybe about 10%. But the chances of us going broke there are like the rest of it. Anyway, I don't think that the moral of that story should be don't play a hand like 4-2 offsuit in the small blind when you're getting 8-1. The reason you should play those kind of hands is because there's a lot of implied odds there, but you just need to be willing to get rid of it. You need to be able to fold strong hands when it feels like they're second best, and when the story that your opponent is telling you is that they're second best. That wasn't really a situation where he could ever expect me to fold, which is why sometimes we can make those folds. Yeah, maybe he had a 2. Maybe he had like 2-3. Maybe he had like king 2. Maybe. It could be. He could have. He could have. He could have. I just don't think he did. I think he calls with a 2. That's what I think. I think he calls with a 2. Seattle Pro, let's go with 5-5, says Mozilla. Could have been. Little ace 5 offsuit with 11 bigs. Are we going to do anything with it? It's close. I don't know what the charts would say. I don't know that we're really getting a better situation than this. So let's go for it. 11 bigs. The problem is we don't really have 11 bigs. We actually have 8 big blinds. If you look at the the level changes in 6 seconds. So let's go ahead and just try to take up take the bones in the middle. And because if we don't, and if we left ourselves with 8 bigs and then had to fade that big blind, small blind, then we're at 6 bigs. We're not really in a situation anymore where we are going to be able to win without having to fade 5 cards. So there's the idea. Little A7 suited will make the fold. King, queen, king 4. And the rabbit taking it down with a flush. Bigger turtle.
We are gonna like take over the poker world.
The way this works is that it's just gonna be a dead small blind. At least I get that right. Look at that, we got Flatfish 52. 2 months in a row. Hey Flatfish, thanks for sticking with me another month. Really happy to have you here, man. Thank you for supporting the stream and making this happen, making it go. Zinway. I really doubt that Zinway is Albanian. Deep Lord. Zinway making the shove, and I'm going to make the fold. See you later, Seattle. I'm gonna get some more coffee really quick, guys. 10-7 off with 9 bigs isn't gonna be a shove. Is it gonna be a shove? It's close. I don't really know what the I think it's close. Let's do it. It's close enough. It's for the whole stack, Luckbox Brian. Making the call with the ace queen. So maybe we don't have to take a break to get our coffee. We're just going to shut down the stream. Luckbox Brian making the call. Thank you very much, wsop.com. It's pretty close. Yeah, so he says ace 5. He says he actually had the trip 5s, and he wasn't even splitting with a 5. He had 5s full of aces. That's what he's claiming, and I think that pretty much makes sense. I think I believe him. Okay, I'm gonna make the full, or I'm going to shut down the stream here. Payout is 0. Result for that tournament minus 120, which is a little sucky. But guys, that's gonna do it. I'm gonna be back probably tomorrow for episode 3. For episode 3. Do we believe him when he says he had the ace 5? I mean, yeah, I believe him. I think that's exactly what he had. I think I think a 5 minimum, ace 5 makes even more sense. So. But he could also just be saying that, who knows? You never know. That's the toughest thing about poker. You never really know. But there it is, you guys. I'll talk to you all later. Yeah, I hope you have that you all have an awesome night and a great New Year. It's still early enough where we can say Happy New Year, right? And hey, guys, if you want some prizes for that Twitch Poker League, we're getting the prize redemption done. Tomorrow I'm getting all the bounties figured out, and if you want a T-shirt, I will be sending you an email getting sizes and stuff if I don't already have it, and even if you send it to me, I'm pretty disorganized with this stuff, and there's a lot of prizes I got to send out. I'll tell you, this Twitch Poker League, it was a lot of fun, but it's also kind of a pain in the ass. It's going to take a lot of time to actually get everything out, but I'd say most of the bounties have already been sent and received, and then the big prize, the PS4, the Kindles, they're going to go out tomorrow, and we'll get the sub information from you as well. So guys, thanks for playing that, and we'll see if we get it back up later on in the year, probably late February, early March if we do it. I'm still not 100% because it is a pain in the ass to do it all, and it's also kind of a pain in the ass to like go out and ask people for favors as far as like sponsorships go. But I did enjoy it, and it was really fun. I felt like it brought the community together a bit, and I also think that it would be really cool to actually try to make a real something out of Poker Zero and out of free poker for real stuff. I think it could be the future of poker. Thank you guys for joining tonight, and you guys have you guys have an awesome rest of the week. Okay, see you later.
See you in the air.
Увидимся в воздухе.
See you in the air.